Douluo, at the beginning, I signed with the martial spirit of the god of death. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51. The fat man was beaten. Daimyo became stronger. His whole person seemed to be full of explosive power, and his evil eyes gained a bit of majesty. Oscar looks much stronger. Just looking at his appearance, no one would think of him as an auxiliary soul master. Tang-san looked much stronger, as if he had grown taller, and his whole person had become calmer, with perseverance in his eyes. The two girls Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing have also changed a lot. They have lost more than a circle and their bodies have become stronger. Both girls are very strong. Under their beautiful appearance, their unyielding temperament is even more attractive. Chen Luo occasionally comes here to take a look, but because his own training is also very intense, the number of visits is limited after all. The last time he came was half a month ago. Seeing Chen Luo coming, Daimyo and the others came up to say hello, and they were all very enthusiastic. Chen Luo, you seem to have finished earlier today than last time. You were too strong. Daimyo said with a smile. Lucky. We, Chen Luo, are still so humble. Ma Hongjin came to Chen Luo, imitated Xiao Wu, and asked with great concern, let me see, are you injured today? Xiao Wu's face turned red instantly and she glared at Ma Hongjin. Damn fat man, you try to learn another one. Ma Hongjin curled his lips, look at your appearance, you don't have to be fat. You want to call me fourth brother. When teasing Xiao Wu, Ma Hongjin never took his eyes away from Chen Luo. He was really looking to see if Chen Luo was injured. Good guy, I just suffered a little scratch, and I'm almost recovering now. Chen Luo, are you still a human being? Or is it that our teacher Xiao is weak again? Ma Hongjin exclaimed. At this moment, Xiao Wuji's deep voice suddenly sounded, fat man, who do you think is weak again? Ma Hongjin was startled. I'll go. Teacher Xiao, when did you come? Xiao Wuji, just arrived. With that said, Xiao Wuji walked towards Oscar. Without the need for Xiao Wuki to speak, Oscar took out the sausages that had been prepared and handed them to Xiao Wuki. Teacher Xiao, you gave me 10 gold soul coins on credit. When will you pay the bill? Oscar smiled so hard that his peach blossom eyes narrowed. Xiao Wuji glanced at Oscar angrily. Look at your worthless look. Why don't you just give me 10 gold soul coins? I'll give it to you next time. After saying that, Xiao Wuji left. Oscar shrugged. It seems that my 10 gold soul coins are gone. Tang-san said, Teacher Xiao's injuries are getting worse day by day. Oscar smiled and hugged Tang-san's shoulders, then pointed at Chen Luo and said with a smile, they are all Chen Luo's masterpieces. Compared to Daimyo, Ma Hongjin and Oscar, who were more lively, Tang-san looked much more mature and spoke very little, but he also cared more about Chen Luo. Tang-san was the first one to notice Chen Luo. As soon as Chen Luo appeared, he immediately used his purple demon eyes to look at Chen Luo's injuries. When he saw that Chen Luo was fine, he was relieved in his heart. Ning Rongrong smiled and stepped forward to greet Chen Luo. Chen Luo, I just listened to the conversation between you and the master. Is your training over? Chen Luo nodded lightly. Yes, it's also a 7-day holiday. Ning Rongrong looked at Xiao Wu with a smile. We can rest together. Let's take Xiao Wu to Soto City for a walk. She is talking about you every day. Will Chen Luo be injured? Chen Luo will be like this or that. Before Ning Rongrong finished speaking, Xiao Wu stepped forward and tickled Ning Rongrong. Let you talk nonsense. Let you talk nonsense. Ma Hongjin said coldly. Rongrong, why are you so worried? Chen Luo and Xiao Wu sleep together every day. Damn fat man. You want to be beaten, right? Forget it, forget it. I can't afford to offend you. I'll run away first. Also, Xiao Wu, don't call me fat guy, call me fourth brother, you know? No matter how big or small you are. After Ma Hongjin finished speaking, he ran away in the direction of Soto City. Before leaving, he called Daimyo rudely, Boss Dai, do you want to go together? Roll. Goodly. After 3 consecutive months of high-intensity training, everyone is quite tired. Oscar and Tang-san returned to the dormitory to rest. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing also returned to the dormitory. Daimyo followed Zhu Zhuqing. He probably returned to the dormitory after sending Zhu Zhuqing back. It was unlikely that he would go to Soto City. Recently boss dies very honest. We are the only two left. Do you want to go to Soto City for a walk? Chen Luo looked at Xiao Wu beside him. Xiao Wu pouted, don't listen to Rongrong's nonsense, I didn't say I was going to Soto City. It's better to go back to sleep. I'm really tired during this period. Thanks for your hard work. Xiao Wu held Chen Luo's arm. Actually, you are the one who works the hardest. You have to fight against teacher Zhao Wuji every day. He is a level 76 soul saint. He is very strong even without using the martial soul avatar. Does it hurt? Yes, seeing you come back injured every day makes me feel very uncomfortable. Chen Luo and Xiao Wu talked and walked towards the dormitory. Although the two of them slept together, their work and rest schedules during the past 3 months were different. Chen Luo was often the last to go back. In the first few days, his whole body was covered with injuries, but he gradually got better later. Chen Luo would never hold back against Zhao Wuji, and he would kill him every time. Therefore, Zhao Wuji would leave with injuries every day, and Zhao Wuji would not hold back against Chen Luo, otherwise Chen Luo would not be able to challenge him on limit. On the first day of vacation, Xiao Wu slept until noon. Chen Luo has been spending his time in a state of cultivation. He needs a certain amount of time to stabilize his strength. Having just experienced high-intensity practical training and entering into intense daily practice, Chen Luo didn't want to work so hard, but whenever he saw Xiao Wu, he became motivated. Only by becoming strong enough can he protect her. When Xiao Wu woke up at noon, Chen Luo accompanied Xiao Wu to have lunch, and happened to meet Tang San when he came back. Tang San came here specially to teach Chen Luo and Xiao Wu how to use hidden weapons and techniques, and by the way, the three of them gathered together to chat. From Notting City to Soto City, from Notting Junior Soul Master Academy to Shrek Academy, Chen Luo, Xiao Wu and Tang San grew up together. Sometimes companionship is an extremely beautiful thing. The three of them people's emotions are very good. Although Tang San sometimes spoke less, he often expressed his care for Chen Luo and Xiao Wu through his actions. In front of Chen Luo and Xiao Wu, he was more like a strict older brother. When Tang San taught Chen Luo and Xiao Wu how to use hidden weapons and techniques, he always looked extremely serious and meticulous, like a teacher. His requirements for Chen Luo and Xiao Wu were also relatively high, and they had to meet don't give up until he is satisfied. The day passed quickly, and the hidden weapon teaching ended in the evening. Chen Luo, Xiao Wu, and Tang San had dinner together, and then returned to their respective dormitories. Tang San had to work overtime at night to assemble hidden weapons, while Chen Luo and Xiao Wu were preparing to practice. Not long after Chen Luo and Xiao Wu returned to the dormitory, a burst of rapid footsteps suddenly sounded outside the door. Before Chen Luo could open the door, he heard Oscar's shout outside. Chen Luo, Xiao Wu, the fat man was beaten, let's go, let's find a place for him. The door opened, and the Shrek 7 monsters were basically gathered together. Ma Hongjin, who was swollen into a pig's head, stood out among the crowd. Chapter 52 Do something. What's wrong? I just heard the fat man being beaten. As soon as Chen Luo opened the door, Xiao Wu stood on tiptoes from behind him and poked her head out to see what was going on outside. Who is that pig head? Could it be the fat man? Xiao Wu's big watery eyes were full of doubts. What happened? Chen Luo asked. Daimyo said, Fat man, do you say it yourself, or do I say it? Ma Hongjin lowered his head. He was really too shameless to mention his trivial matters again. Daimyo glanced at Ma Hongjin lightly. Look at how hopeless you are. The thing is like this. The fat man went to Soto City to solve his evil fire problem. He met a wretched uncle. They both fell in love with the same woman, so they had a fight. The other party was a famous soul sect with a name like it was because he was unhappy, and the fat man was defeated, so he was beaten like this. Daimyo simply told what happened. The fat man immediately stood up and added a few words. That guy insulted me and actually said I was young. Even a man can't help it. Fifth sister, fifth brother-in-law, you have to make the decision for me. If I hadn't been training quite strong recently, I might have been beaten to the point where I wouldn't be able to come back. Who are you calling fifth brother-in-law? Xiao Wu's beautiful eyes widened, but her face turned slightly red. Ma Hongjin said, don't worry about these details. Now it's your fourth brother who was bullied and beaten up. What do you think I should do? And I also heard the madam say that that guy often did bad things. I don't know how many innocent girls fell into his hands. After being played by him, they were brutally killed by him. This kind of scum should not live here in the world. Then what are you waiting for? Let's go quickly. You dare to beat my brother? You must beat him until he can't take care of himself. If he is really that kind of scum, we will eliminate harm for the people today. Sister Xiao, who has been honest for a long time, exudes the heroic spirit of a big sister at this moment. The corners of Chen Luo's mouth curved slightly, and Tang San subconsciously revealed a faint smile. The Shrek 7 devils, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing didn't come, mainly because they didn't know about it. Ma Hongjin also wanted to save face and didn't want everyone to know about him. The purpose of coming to find Chen Luo and Xiao Wu was very clear. Everyone knew that Chen Luo was very powerful. They were confident of dealing with an enemy with the strength of the Soul Sect, but if Chen Luo also went, it would be even more secure. Let's go, Chen Luo said. The group set off immediately, very fast, and arrived at Soto City in less than half an hour. Under the leadership of Ma Hongjin, everyone walked through the streets and finally came to a relatively remote corner of Soto City. What appeared in front of everyone was a row of bungalows, which looked to be quite old. Several pink lanterns swayed in the wind, and beneath the lanterns stood several women with heavy makeup, selling themselves to passers-by. Not surprisingly, Ma Hongjin was despised by Daimyo Bei. Fat man, you come to a place like this to solve the evil fire problem. Boss I don't want to either, but it's cheaper here. Oscar curled his lips. Those women are old enough to be your mother. How did you do it? Ma Hongjin, oh, don't talk about those things that are there or not. Everyone knows that they are treating me badly. Let's do business first. You guys wait here while I go and ask if that bastard is gone. Oscar was already making preparations at this time, conjuring sausages. Be prepared. Ma Hongjin came back soon, with an excited look on his face. That guy is checking out and will be out soon. The group of people walked to a dark corner opposite the bungalow and waited silently for Bu Hu to appear. Not long after, a middle-aged man in his early 40s walked out of the bungalow. He had dark skin, a little over 1.6 meters tall, and a lewd smile on his face. His right hand was wrapped in gauze, and he was wearing a pair of rags with several rags on his lower body. The big pants with holes in them and a pair of flip-flops on her feet are just unhappy. I'm in a good mood today, sir. I'm going out for a walk with the birds. Bully hummed a little tune and walked towards the street. The fat man couldn't wait any longer and clenched his fists. When will we do it? Now. A calm voice sounded, and the person who spoke was Chen Luo. Before anyone could react, Chen Luo had already taken action, rushing out very quickly without even activating his martial spirit. Bully was still immersed in the joy of being in the bungalow when suddenly a black shadow flashed before his eyes, and then he felt a huge force coming from his chin, and then his whole body was directly overturned. Seeing Chen Luo take action, Daimyo Bei and others joined the battle without any hesitation. Chen Luo's punch directly dislocated Bully's jaw. The terrifying force made Bully dizzy. Bully didn't even have the chance to activate his martial spirit, and he was beaten by everyone again. After fighting for more than 10 minutes, everyone finally gave up, but Bully was already half dead. Chen Luo just started, and then stood aside and watched silently. If he really took action, Bully would already be a corpse. After venting the hatred in his heart, Ma Hongjin felt much better. With a cheerful smile, he took everyone to eat. After arriving at the hotel, Chen Luo did not take a seat. He smiled and greeted everyone. You guys eat first, I'll go do something. What's the matter? I'll go with you. Xiao Wu said immediately. Chen Luo said, it's just a small matter. I'll be back soon. Just wait for me here obediently. Ma Hongjin immediately smiled and said, Fifth sister, you don't trust Chen Luo too much? I'm very good at judging people. He is definitely not going to do those bad things. Xiao Wu glared at Ma Hongjin, who immediately shut up and ordered the food silently. Then you go early and come back early, and pay attention to safety. Xiao Wu said. Daimyo Bei laughed. You really don't have to worry so much? Don't you know what Chen Luo's strength is? Xiao, give me a big sausage. Chen Luo looked at Oscar. Oscar glanced at Chen Luo with some confusion, but still gave Chen Luo the large sausage that he had prepared but not used, and asked, do you want anything else? No need. After getting the sausage, Chen Luo left the hotel, and then went to the small bungalow where Ma Hongjin solved the evil fire. Oh my god, Yanzi, what's wrong with you? Someone come here, Yans, he is dying. In a small room in the bungalow, a woman in her 20s was lying on the bed dying. Her clothes were in rags, her whole body was tortured to the point of being disfigured, her body was covered with large and small wounds, and there were blood stains everywhere on the bed. It looks like it won't work anymore. Beside the bed, an older woman shouted anxiously. After a while, several women came into the room. They all looked at the woman on the bed with worried faces, and their faces unconsciously rose. A look of horror. Just when they were at a loss, a boy walked in with a sausage in his hand. Crush this into pieces and give it to her. There should be a chance. The older woman hesitated for a moment, then took it immediately, and then gave the sausage to the woman on the bed. At this time, the boy spoke again. By the way, do girls often become like this and die unexpectedly recently? The older woman was slightly startled when she heard this, and then roared like crazy. It's Bully. Bully must be the one who did it, that inhumane scum. When he looked back, the boy had disappeared. Chapter 53 Death God in number 039, S ring. The food is all served, why hasn't Chen Luo come back yet? Ma Hongjin looked at the door of the hotel with some confusion, but did not see Chen Luo. Xiao Wu said, everyone, let's eat first, there's no need to wait for him. The dining table is filled with delicious dishes, which are fragrant and steaming. Dai Mubei said, how can that be done? Chen Luo should be back soon, let's just wait. Xiao Wu's big watery eyes looked very calm. She ignored everyone's words and directly picked up the chopsticks and started eating. Ma Hongjin, Dai Mubei and the others seemed to notice Xiao Wu's unhappiness. They both showed embarrassing smiles, especially Ma Hongjin, who looked a little guilty. Oscar said at this time, don't worry, Xiao Wu, Chen Luo is definitely not doing anything bad. He asked me for a big sausage. He must have gone to fight, maybe to the spirit fighting arena. Ma Hongjin immediately said, it's very possible. During the 3 months we were training, I saw Chen Luo going to the Soto spirit arena several times. Dai Mubei glanced at Ma Hongjin with some surprise. You have really good energy. You were so tired during that time, how could you still go to Soto City to have fun? Ma Hongjin shrugged, everyone knows my situation. I'm not looking for fun, I'm looking to extend my life. Ma Hongjin then looked at Xiao Wu and emphasized, I'm serious. I saw Chen Luo go to the Soto spirit fighting arena several times. Tang San, who had been sitting silently next to him, suddenly said, Chen Luo is back. After everyone heard this, they immediately looked outside the door. In the darkness not far away, a figure walked out. It was Chen Luo. Sorry, there was a little accident and I came back a little late. Chen Luo walked into the restaurant and greeted everyone, you can eat first, you don't have to wait for me. How about that? Come on, the food is hot, let's start together. Dai Mubei said with a smile. Ma Hongjin also had a smile on his face. Chen Luo, thank you so much for today. Let's have a nice drink later. Row. Chen Luo sat next to Xiao Wu. Humph. Xiao Wu snorted coldly and deliberately moved her body to keep a distance from Chen Luo. Chen Luo was a little surprised. When he looked at the others, they all said in exaggerated mouth shapes that Xiao Wu was angry. In fact, it goes without saying, it's all so obvious. Chen Luo smiled slightly, and then asked in a low voice in Xiao Wu's ear, who made my sister Xiao Wu angry? Humph. What's wrong? Why are you coming back? Then you hope I won't come back. Xiao Wu pouted, what did you go to do just now? Chen Luo knew that Xiao Wu was angry because of this, and said somewhat mysteriously, I'll tell you when I get back. It's almost there. A girl's thoughts are always so elusive, but Chen Luo knows Xiao Wu quite well, after all, they have been together for so many years. The main reason why Xiao Wu was angry was because Chen Luo didn't report what he was going to do and whether he would take her with him. You two, stop whispering. If you have anything to say, go back and talk slowly in bed. Eat the food first, it will be cold later. Dai Mubei smiled angrily. Chen Luo nodded and started to use his chopsticks. Xiao Wu's little face turned red instantly, she stopped being petty and moved towards Chen Luo. Everyone began to eat and drink, enjoying themselves. It was already late at night when we returned to Shrek Academy. As soon as she arrived at the dormitory, Xiao Wu kept staring at Chen Luo. Chen Luo smiled helplessly and began to explain. I mainly went to do 3 things at that time. What 3 things? Xiao Wu looked at Chen Luo pretending to be serious, as if he was a young wife checking the post. Rescue people, kill people, and also go to the Soto Grand Soul Fighting Arena to complete the soul fighting competition. When Xiao Wu heard the first half of the sentence, she already frowned. Rescue. Kill. What's going on? Can you explain it once and for all? Chen Luo said, if I finish it in one breath, how can my little sister Wu remain curious? Stop talking nonsense and speak quickly. Xiao Wu looked straight at Chen Luo. There was a girl dying in the bungalow. I went to save her. All of that was Bu Li's fault. I killed Bu Li. Chen Luo said everything very concisely. Xiao Wu couldn't digest all the information for a while, and she was too lazy to think about it so much, so she said directly, tell me more details. Chen Luo couldn't help but smile and rubbed Xiao Wu's head. I know your little head isn't that flexible. Xiao Wu rolled her eyes at Chen Luo. Say it quickly. When we were fighting Bu Li, I smelled the smell of blood, and then I thought of what the fat man told us. Now Bu Li is a complete perverted murderer who likes to kill girls the most, and the smell of blood happened to come from the bungalow. It floated out, so I decided to go take a look. By the way, let's make sure Bu Li is that kind of person. In the end, it turned out that a girl was tortured to death by Bu Li. I heard from other people that it was not the first time that Bu Li had done that kind of thing. But since Bu Li was a soul master, civilians like them couldn't do anything about Bu Li. Then. Are you going to eliminate harm for the people? Yes. Well done. That scumbag should die. Actually, I killed not only Bu Li, but also 2 of his colleagues. They all had the same virtue, and they were all taken care of easily. Damn it, you didn't take me with you. It's so embarrassing. I don't want you to see such a bloody scene. My little dance sister, what kind of scene have I never seen? Chen Luo gently scratched Xiao Wu's nose. Just leave those things to me. How can I let Sister Xiao Wu take action? Has everything been taken care of? Yes. Then, you also took a trip to the Soto Spirit Fighting Arena to complete a spirit fighting match. Xiao Wu finally mentioned this third thing that was almost ignored. Chen Luo nodded. I won another game, and I have won 30 games in a row. Then you're pretty fast. You've actually done so many things. That one is a soul master at the level of the soul sect. His 2 accomplices are probably not too bad either. Oh, they really are nothing to you, let alone the competition in the soul fighting arena. It would be strange if you lost. Chen Luo couldn't help but smile. Didn't some people think that I came back too late and asked me why I came back? Who it is, I don't know, it's not me anyway. Xiao Wu looked like she didn't admit it, and then yawned. I'm going to bed. I've been really exhausted recently. Sleep later. What happened? I have something for you. Huh? Take it out quickly. Xiao Wu, who was a little tired at first, suddenly became energetic, and her big watery eyes seemed to shine. Chen Luo touched the death bracelet, and a dark ring appeared in his hand. The shape of the ring is very ordinary. It is a very common ring, but if you look closely, you can see many complex and mysterious lines on the ring. It's for you. This ring is so ugly, you must have terrible taste. Although Xiao Wu said this, she reached out very quickly and immediately took it into her hand. She looked at it seriously, and a happy smile unconsciously appeared on her pretty face. After observing for a while, Xiao Wu liked it more and more and put the ring on the middle finger of her right hand. The black ring seems to be able to shrink according to the thickness of the finger, so it will fit perfectly no matter how you wear it. The moment she put on the ring, a look of surprise flashed across Xiao Wu's face. Chen Luo happened to speak at this time. This ring is not ordinary. It should have many functions. What I have discovered for the time being is that it can conceal the aura. Do you like it? The surprise on Xiao Wu's face disappeared instantly, and she revealed a very happy smile. I like it. Chapter 54 Review. Xiao Wu had fallen asleep, and Chen Luo was lying on the bed looking at the ceiling and reviewing what happened tonight. In fact, at the beginning, Chen Luo had no intention of killing Bu Li. In his opinion, it was a fight between 2 men who were jealous of a woman. On my side, as a classmate and friend, it is okay to help the fat man vent his anger, but there is no need to escalate it to the point of life and death. It wasn't until he went to Soto City and came to this small bungalow that Chen Luo realized that things were not that simple. Before setting off, Fatty had said that Bu Li was a scumbag who liked to torture and kill young girls. At that time, Chen Luo didn't believe it, thinking that Fatty was deliberately adding fuel to the fire and wanted everyone to help him. As a result, Bu Li is really a scumbag. Because of the martial spirit and the death technique, Chen Luo's sensing ability was much stronger than that of ordinary people, so when he arrived at the bungalow, he smelled the smell of blood, and when he thought of what the fat man said, he knew what happened next. In this world where the strong are respected, the status of a soul master is much higher than that of ordinary people. Just because Douluo is a soul master and his strength is not weak, he dares to treat human life as nothing. Fortunately, this is a world where the strong are respected, and it is very easy for Chen Luo to eliminate harm for the people. In fact, there are corresponding rules among soul masters. Of course, soul masters cannot rely on their strong strength to attack civilians, but they are very cunning and always attack the lowest level civilians. No one can resist, and few people can. I'll take care of it. Chen Luo usually wouldn't take the initiative to take care of these messy things. There is always darkness under the light. The brighter the place, the filthier it is in the darkness. But now that he has encountered it, he can't ignore it. And he is not entirely for the so-called justice, but also mixed with some personal emotions. They attacked Douluo, who would definitely hold a grudge. Douluo also had two good friends who were not weak in strength. Chen Luo didn't want him and others to always have such a safety hazard, so he had to eliminate the root cause. With enough valid reasons, of course all hidden dangers must be eliminated. There were not too many bells and whistles during the battle. Chen Luo activated immortality and eliminated Douluo and the other three in less than a minute. Chen Luo's strength is already strong. How can he be weak when he can fight against a Soul Saint level powerhouse like Feudal Ming Wang Zhaowuji? Even if there was a Soul King level Soul Master among the three of Douluo, it did not delay their survival at all, not to mention that Douluo was still in a state of losing combat effectiveness. Chen Luo was 1 against 2, and there was no suspense at all. After killing Douluo and the other three, Chen Luo also used Soul Hunter to completely erase their souls. Through some memories of their souls and some of the things they left behind, it was confirmed that the three of them were real scum. Period. As for their corpses, Chen Luo didn't care about them, and didn't even bother to use poisonous flames to destroy the corpses and eliminate traces. No one cares about the life and death of low-level civilians, and no one cares about the life and death of a few garbage soul masters. Being able to kill them means that the attacker is stronger and no one wants to provoke them. What's more, they really deserve to die. This is also the first time that Chen Luo uses soul hunting against a soul master. The feeling is very special. He can selectively view some memories through the other party's soul, and can also absorb some of their power. It is unrealistic to completely swallow all the power, but the power including the soul is also extremely considerable. There are 3 soul masters in total, including 1 Soul King. Chen Luo still hasn't been able to completely digest and absorb the power they brought. This process will probably take a certain amount of time. Absorbing power is very simple. The most important thing is to remove the negative energy from their dirty souls. You must be careful. If you are affected, you will lose more than you gain. It is better to absorb the souls of beasts or soul beasts. Although they will also have some negative energy, they are definitely not as complicated as humans. It is not known whether the cleanest souls come from humans, but there are definitely humans in the dirtiest souls. After getting rid of Douluo and the others, Chen Luo went to the Soto Spirit Fighting Arena to complete the spirit fighting competition. In the previous 3 months of training, unless Chen Luo was really too tired to move, he would take time to go to the Soto Spirit Fighting Arena in the evening to complete the spirit fighting competition. Of course, it was not for the desire to win that was worthless in front of him, but simply to complete the side tasks of the system. In those 3 months, Chen Luo had a total of more than 20 soul fighting games. Tonight was exactly the 30th game. There were no surprises. Of course, it was a winning streak. No one at the same level can be Chen Luo's opponent, and there are very few people who can let Chen Luo activate his martial spirit. After winning 30 games in a row, Chen Luo received a notification from the system that the task was completed, and received the reward of the side task, the Ring of Death. At first glance, the Death Ring looks like a smaller version of the Death Bracelet, except that the special patterns on the two are completely different. The complex and mysterious patterns composed of formations are their real value. The reason why the Death Bracelet has storage space and necromantic space is probably related to those formations. After obtaining the Death Bracelet, Chen Luo immediately understood the function of the Death Bracelet, but the Death Ring was extremely mysterious. Chen Luo only knew that the Death Ring had the function of concealing aura, and the system did not give any prompts. Because of Chen Luo's martial soul and the Death God's technique, he has special characteristics. Unless he shows his full strength, others cannot see it. Even if a titled Douluo stands in front of him, he probably won't be able to see it. Strength. And Chen Luo didn't need to use the death ring to hide other things. It happened that Xiao Wu needed the death ring very much. Xiao Wu was transformed from a 10-year-old soul beast. Today, she is still in her infancy. As long as her strength is above that of a soul Douluo, she can detect the aura of her soul beast. A stronger titled Douluo can directly see through it. The identity of the little dancing soul beast. It can be said that Xiao Wu has been walking on a knife's edge, which is very dangerous. The ring of death fits Xiao Wu very well, and can help Xiao Wu hide the soul beast's aura. Unless Xiao Wu tells the identity of the soul beast, no one can tell, and no one will believe that a random person is the 10-year-old soul beast. It's better to practice and absorb the energy gained from hunting souls as soon as possible. It is estimated that it will be completely absorbed and my soul power level will be improved again. If I don't consider future development, my crazy hunting of soul masters will definitely allow me to quickly improve my strength in a short period of time. But it's clear that it's something that will destroy your future. It's best not to do it, and don't even think about it. It's okay to absorb souls occasionally if you have the opportunity. If you completely want to rely on this to improve your strength, the moment the idea appears and becomes firm, the soul has been polluted, and it will stay that way for the rest of its life. Turning his head and glancing at Xiao Wu who was sleeping soundly, Chen Luo immediately put away the distracting thoughts in his mind, immediately stood up, sat cross-legged, and entered the cultivation state. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55 Soul Fighting Training. 7 days passed in a flash. Shrek's little monsters are about to start school again, and will soon undergo the second phase of training. In these 7 days, Chen Luo successfully absorbed all the power obtained through soul hunting. His soul power level increased again, and is now level 36. Even Chen Luo himself felt that this terrifying speed of increasing the soul power level was exaggerated. If he hadn't been strong enough, someone else would have started hunting soul masters or soul beasts long ago, and quickly increased his strength by hunting other people's souls. After breakfast, before the familiar school bell rang, the Shrek little monsters gathered in the playground very consciously, and Chen Luo was among them. Chen Luo knew in his heart that his second stage of training would definitely be different from the Shrek 7 Devils. He was still curious about how the master would arrange it for him. The master came to the playground not long after. He looked much more energetic than before. It was probably because of the influence of the little monsters that his mentality changed a lot. After a brief lecture, the master quickly entered the topic. The second phase of the Shrek 7 Monsters teaching was, without any surprise, held in the Soto Grand Soul Fighting Arena. There was no limit to the teaching time, and when the Silver Soul Fighting Badge was obtained, the training ended. Everyone's food and accommodation will also be arranged in a hotel near the Soto Grand Soul Fighting Arena. Of course, all expenses will be borne by yourself. After arranging the Shrek 7 Monsters, the master's eyes finally fell on Chen Luo. Chen Luo, you go too. You can participate in the spirit fighting competition on your own. If you want to make further progress in actual combat, you can continue to find teacher Xiao Wuji for actual combat training. You are different from them, and it would be better for you to make your own arrangements. After Chen Luo heard the words, he understood instantly. There is no so-called second stage of training for him, and everything after that has to be done by himself. With his current strength, it would be easy to defeat the real form of Xiao Wuji's martial spirit. But if he fights Xiao Wuji who is in the spirit of his true form, the effect will not be very good. Because the difference in strength is too big, a soul master who has activated his martial soul's true body is completely different from a soul master who has not activated his martial soul's true body. The most important thing is that the martial soul avatar cannot be opened casually. As long as the martial soul avatar is activated, there will be a period of weakness. There is really no need to torture Xiao Wuji like that. There are other teachers in the academy, such as Li Yusong and others, but their training is not as effective as Xiao Wuji. They can't let go, and it's not good for Chen Luo to be heavy-handed. They are all older teachers. Then for now, let's go to Soto City with Shrek's army and go to the Soto Spirit Fighting Arena. If you're not interested, go back to Shrek and train with Xiao Wuji. Chen Luo thought to himself. Mainly, Chen Luo also needs a transition period at the moment. His recent soul power level has increased too much, and he needs to practice hard to stabilize it. After making arrangements for Chen Luo, the master's eyes returned to the Shrek 7 Devils. There are several restrictions when participating in the spirit fighting competition. You should pay attention to them. First, you must not show your appearance or reveal your name. All fights will be done under code names. Second, no one, including Tang San himself, is allowed to use hidden weapons. Third, compete in at least 2 games every day, regardless of victory or defeat. Soto City, an ordinary hotel near Soto Spirit Arena. Everyone from Shrek had already moved in here, and now everyone including Chen Luo gathered in Tang San's room to discuss matters related to the spirit fighting competition. The first is everyone's code name, which is consistent with what Chen Luo remembers. Dai Mu Bei, the white tiger with evil eyes; Oscar, the sausage dealer; Tang San, the thousand-handed shiro; Ma Hongjin, the evil fire phoenix; Xiao Wu, the soft-boned charming rabbit; Ning Rongrong, the 7 treasures glaze; and Zhu Xiuqing, the ghostly civet cat. Chen Luo himself took a death sigh. Then Chen Luo was not interested in hearing about the upcoming competition arrangements. Since Chen Luo and Xiao Wu had already formed a dance group and could not split up, Chen Luo could only compete with Xiao Wu. The master also imposed restrictions, that is, Chen Luo could not activate martial arts combat. Even if he didn't activate his martial soul, Chen Luo would still crush him against soul masters of the same level. But Chen Luo also knows that this is training for Xiao Wu after all, and he will know how to do it and will not become a stumbling block for Xiao Wu to become stronger. The soul fighting competition started soon, and Chen Luo's single soul fighting started first. As usual, Chen Luo easily defeated his opponent without even using his martial spirit. He really didn't feel any pressure when he came here, he just came here to gain points and get money. Chen Luo watched the subsequent Shrek matches, and even analyzed a battle situation with the master to guess the outcome of the battle. Chen Luo, who already knew the outcome, was naturally able to speak eloquently, and he had his own unique understanding of combat. The master nodded secretly after hearing this. After a while, everyone's single spirit fighting competitions were over, and everyone won their first victory of the day. Then came the double spirit fighting competition. Chen Luo and Xiao Wu's Qi Wu combination fought against the cat and mouse combination. During the entire battle, Chen Luo tried his best to restrain his strength and give Xiao Wu more room to perform, but in the end, he easily won the game victory. Regardless of actual combat experience or pure strength comparison, the cat and mouse combination was completely defeated. Chen Luo has always seen Xiao Wu's efforts. Xiao Wu has indeed grown a lot during this time. This soul fighting competition is too easy. I feel like you didn't even take any action just now. After the game, Xiao Wu stretched her body very comfortably, then turned her head to look at Chen Luo. Chen Luo nodded. The main reason is that our sister Xiao is so powerful that I have no chance to take action. HMPH. Don't think that I don't know that you are deliberately creating opportunities for me. Although Xiao Wu was completely immersed in the battle just now, after the battle, she could still recall some details of the battle. Chen Luo created many good opportunities for her, otherwise she would not be able to fight so easily and comfortably. Performed well. Sister Xiao gave the most pertinent evaluation. Chen Luo smiled slightly. Is there any reward? I'll treat you to something delicious later. Okay. Your expression of surprise is too exaggerated. Then I'll pay attention next time. Xiao Wu couldn't help but laugh, hugged Chen Luo's arm, and the two returned to the lounge together. The 2-on-2 spirit fighting competition between Shrek's other little monsters soon started, and they all ended up winning perfectly. Today was a good start for the first day. Just when everyone was happy for their victory, the master still looked serious. It's time for a team spirit battle. The Shrek 7 Devils also signed up for a team spirit fighting competition. Since some of them were at level, their opponents were all spirit masters at level, or above. Chen Luo naturally had no chance to participate in the team competition. He wanted to experience it, but the master decisively refused, saying that if he played, it would affect the balance, so Chen Luo had no choice but to give up. Soon, the team spirit battle will begin. In the past, Chen Luo could only see exciting soul master duels in novels or animations, but now he had the opportunity to watch them live. Of course, He was full of interest. Question mark. The transition plot will speed up the pace. Thank you all for your support. I have seen all your recommendation votes and read all your supportive comments. Thank you all so much, love you guys. Question mark. Chapter 56 Good Fight, Shrek. In the clearing, a man and a bear were confronting each other. A young man in black clothes was holding a huge scythe, and his whole body was covered with black flames. He seemed to have been hit hard just now, and he was slightly bowing, covering his chest, breathing heavily. Handsome, there was a bit of pain on his face. The entire open space was devastated, and there were 2 ravines more than half a meter deep in front of the young man. At this time, the young man's feet were also submerged in the soil. Right in front of the young man, a golden giant bear was roaring, and then a middle-aged man's voice was heard. No fight, no fight, it's too uncomfortable, I really can't fight with you. The golden bear waved its huge paw, and then its body quickly shrank. After the golden light flashed, a middle-aged man covered in bruises stood on the ground, holding his knees with both hands, looking very weak. Teacher Xiao, you just gained a huge advantage, why don't we fight now? Chen Luo instantly put away his immortal state and at the same time withdrew his martial spirit. He came out of the mud with a faint smile on his face, and then walked slowly towards Xiao Wuji. Xiao Wuji waved his hand slightly. Don't think that I don't know that your kid is playing fishing tricks. You really treat you, Teacher Xiao, and I as a fish. You are selling such a big flaw, and you, Teacher Xiao, and I are not blind. I feel that every time your soul power level increases, your strength will be greatly improved. You are not really a monster, right? Sometimes I even feel that if you were stronger, I would not be your opponent. Chen Luo couldn't help but smile. Teacher Xiao, the more you talk, the more exaggerated you are. Xiao Wuji frowned. I told the truth. Okay, it's almost time. Let's go to Soto City. The team competition for those little monsters should start soon. As he spoke, Xiao Wuji took out a few sausages and stuffed them all into his mouth, chewing them hard, and the various large and small injuries on his body began to slowly recover. Okay. Chen Luo nodded. Then, Chen Luo and Xiao Wuji set off for Soto City. Soto Battlefield. I would like to invite the Imperial Fighting Team and the Shrek 7 Monsters team to come on stage. A clear and sweet voice sounded above the main spirit fighting arena in the center. A young girl of 18 or 19 years old, wearing a dignified and beautiful white dress, was presiding over the only team spirit fighting competition tonight. The bright golden lights, the professional soul amplifier, and the Soto Spirit Arena's signature host Douluo all illustrate the importance of tonight's team spirit competition. For this team spirit fighting competition, the Soto Spirit Fighting Arena has made full preparations. It has cancelled all other team fighting spirit competitions and opened a special one at the prime time in the evening. On both sides of the fighting spirit stage, 2 doors opened silently at the same time, and the players from both sides entered the arena at the same time, walking towards the center of the fighting spirit stage. Before the contestants came on stage, the beautiful host Douluo had been continuously introducing them to prepare the ground. Now that the contestants from both sides came on stage, the whole audience cheered. Coming out from the left was the Imperial Fighting Team, and a group of Spirit Masters headed by the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Dragon Spirit Master Xiao and Heng came out. Coming out from the right was the Shrek 7 Monsters team, led by Daimyo Bei, and Shrek's little monsters came out one after another. As soon as they took the stage, the captains of both teams, Xiao and Heng and Daimyo Bei, made eye contact. Before the soul fighting competition officially started, the invisible momentum of both sides was constantly rising. Attention, soul masters on both sides participating in the team battle, you have 1 minute to summon your own soul from now on. When I announce the start, you can only attack until one party admits defeat, collapses, or falls off the soul fighting platform. Douluo, who was floating in midair, flapped her pair of snow-white pigeon wings, and said to the team members on both sides with her soft and moving voice. Fortunately, I caught up, otherwise I would have missed this extremely exciting game tonight. Chen Luo stood at the entrance of the passage where the fighting spirit team appeared. This is where the leaders of both teams were. Beside Chen Luo, there were also Flanders, Grandmaster and Xiao Wuji standing. Of course, Master, Flanders and Xiao Wuji are the real leaders of the team. Chen Luo just came to join in the fun and simply watch the game. At this time, all the soul masters of the two teams activated their martial souls on the soul fighting stage. For a moment, The entire soul fighting stage was filled with powerful soul power. Douluo, who was in charge of hosting, flew up a certain distance unconsciously. Since you all want to watch the game, why are you dragging me into actual training? Xiao Wuji patted Chen Luo on the shoulder and said angrily. The master then spoke, how was the training? This kid is getting stronger and stronger. I guess it won't be long before I can't beat him. Xiao Wuji shrugged. Teacher Xiao just likes to joke, it's not that exaggerated. Chen Luo spoke, his eyes always falling on the soul fighting platform. At this time, the two teams had already started fighting. Grandmaster and Flender looked at Chen Luo in surprise at the same time, and then focused on the spirit fighting competition. They all witnessed Chen Luo's growth. If the little guys on the stage were the little monsters that Shrek was proud of, then Chen Luo was the monster among monsters. Even if they are facing a strong opponent like the Royal Dao team, as long as Chen Luo comes on the court, there will be no suspense. The gap is just that big. There must be some exaggeration in what Xiao Wuji said, but there is still no doubt about Chen Luo's strength. While Daimyo Bei, Tang San and the others were still worrying about opponents at the same level, Chen Luo could already compete with a 76th level Soul Saint level. Xiao Wuji fought back and forth, which is enough to explain everything. The soul fighting competition on the soul fighting stage soon became intense. After the battle between the captains of both teams, Daimyo Bei and Yu Xianheng, the Shrek 7 monsters used the tactics they had prepared long ago to complete the attack on Yu Xianheng. Double team. After Yu Xianheng sensed something was wrong, he immediately launched a breakout, but unfortunately, he went deep alone and was unable to defeat the four hands with his fists. After suffering a series of attacks from Shrek and several others, he was seriously injured. Blood spurted from wounds all over his body, and there was blood in his mouth. Squirt wildly. In the end, after receiving a heavy blow from Daimyo Bei, Yu Xianheng flew backwards and hit the tortoise shell of the Zhuangwu turtle soul master, dying. This is the consequence of a person rushing in with his eyes closed in a group. His teammates are also stupid and don't know how to join together. They must wait until it is too late before taking action. While watching the soul fighting competition, Chen Luo couldn't help but complain, Daimyo Bei is the same. He gave away the head he must take. Did he forget that there was a wet nurse on the opposite side? If he had just stabilized his hand, he would definitely be able to kill the jade first. Get Xianheng. Chen Luo, what are you talking about here alone? Xiao Wuji glanced at Chen Luo with some confusion. Chen Luo said, I'm talking about Tang San and Boss Dai, they fought really well. Complaints are complaints, the Shrek 7 monsters just played really well. In such a short period of time, they were able to catch the flaw of Yu Xianheng, who moved too forward due to his bellicosity, and beat Yu Xianheng without fighting back. The commander must be rewarded with a big chicken drumstick. But there is also a saying that those who play tactics have a dirty mind. Chapter 57. It's over for being reckless, I'm going to kill you all. Seeing that Yu Xianheng was injured, Du Yuyan lost his mind and let out an angry roar. The third soul ring on his body shone brightly. His originally green eyes had completely turned purple, and even the green scales on the snake's tail were covered with a layer of lavender light. The rich purple mist with terrifying toxicity was spit out from Du Yuyan's mouth, quickly spread in the air, and floated towards the Shrek 7 monsters at an extremely fast speed. At this time, Du Yuyan fell into an extremely crazy state because of Yu Xianheng's injury. He had forgotten Qin Ming's instructions and just wanted to kill everyone in Shrek. Tang San was well prepared for this. When he saw Du Yuyan releasing the poisonous mist, he immediately took out 2 large water bags from the 24th bridge in the moonlit night and threw them forward. Boss Dai, White Tiger Fierce Light Wave, Fatty, Phoenix Firewire. After hearing this, Daimyo Bei and Ma Hongjin immediately took action without any hesitation. I saw Daimyo Bei releasing the White Tiger Fierce Light Wave to explode the water bag in an instant, and the water mist was flying. Ma Hongjin's Phoenix Fireline followed closely behind. In an instant, the fire rose, and a special fragrance filled the whole place, and the purple mist was all covered. Then, the purple mist was seen burning, very fast, the firelight passed by, and everything returned to calm. Snapped. 2 exploded water bags fell to the ground at the same time, which seemed to prove that a fierce battle had just occurred. Playing poison with Tang San is a bit overestimating one's abilities. Chen Luo smelled the faint aroma of wine in the air and raised the corners of his mouth unconsciously. Chen Luo had imagined the scenes in front of him before, and had even seen them through more intuitive animations, but the feeling of watching them live was still extraordinary and much more exciting. It's a pity that I didn't have the chance to play. The battle on the soul fighting stage never stopped for a moment. When Douluo attacked Shrek and everyone else, Yi Langlen, who was at the back of the Imperial fighting team, was already healing Yu Xianheng. The healing ability of Jinbooks and Begonia is powerful. The fragrance of the flower wafts out, and white light emanates from the petals, covering Yu Xianheng's body, and then quickly integrates into Yu Xianheng's body. Yu Xianheng, who was dying, suddenly became more energetic. The wounds on his body began to heal quickly. The dragon arm that had been broken by Daimube also gradually recovered. In just a while, all the injuries on Yu Xianheng's body were healed. Yu Xianheng, who had regained his fighting power, immediately rushed towards the Shrek 7 again, but this time he was more careful. After all, he had suffered a loss once, and beside him was Oslo, who had the Black Panther spirit to protect him. Quick decision, Boss Dai, Yuan Zuqing used martial soul fusion skills directly. Just take out Yu Xianheng and Oslo. Fatty, you work hard and find opportunities for Xiao Wu to get around and take out their auxiliary spirit masters. Tang San knew very well that if the battle continued to drag on, his side would be defeated. It's better to burn the boat and fight with your last resort. Several other members of Shrek were also aware of the situation in front of them, and as soon as Tang San's task was assigned, they immediately carried it out. Daimube and Zhu Ziuking activated the martial soul fusion skill Netherworld White Tiger and rushed directly towards the menacing Yu Xianheng and Oslo. On the other side, the fat man Ma Hongjin started to deal crazy damage just to clear a way for Xiao Wu. Tang San no longer hid his clumsiness, directly activated the 8 spider spears, and rushed towards the Wang Dao team together. The 2 assistants Oscar and Ning Rongrong at the rear of the team were not idle either. Oscar continued to provide supplies to the rest of Shrek, while Ning Rongrong accurately grasped the opportunity and used his soul skills on the teammates fighting in the front body. The discipline of the entire team is excellent, and there is a tacit understanding among the teammates, and each one can accurately find their own position and play their role as much as possible. That's right. If you have a chance to win a team battle, don't procrastinate, just do it. Chen Luo was originally worried that something would happen to Xiao Wu in the ensuing battle. If the plot in the book was followed, Xiao Wu would be attacked from both sides and eventually be seriously injured by the Shi brothers' tortoise-shell whirling dance. But when he saw what he saw in front of him, behind the scenes, Chen Luo no longer worried. As long as the Shrek 7 monsters dare to attack, they will definitely take away everyone in the Royal Dao team. The Tang San in front of him was much more decisive than the Tang San in the book. If he could fight, he would never delay. The battle does not have to wait until all teammates are gone before a wave of harvest occurs. Since there are ways to change the situation, teammates should not be allowed to take risks. Daimube and Zhu Ziuking, who activated the martial soul fusion skill, relied on the strength of the Netherworld White Tiger to easily defeat Yu Xianheng and Oslo, but they also lost their fighting power due to exhaustion. This wave of 2 for 2 clearly shows the profit. It is rare to find an opportunity to solve Yu Xianheng and Oslo together, and Yu Xianheng and Oslo happen to be the 2 most powerful forces of the Imperial fighter team. If there is no other way, if you can change it, you will make money. On the other side, the fat man Ma Hongjin used the Phoenix Fire Line to hold the 2 Shi brothers for Xiao Wu, and Tang San also opened a path on one side. When Tang San activated the 8 spider spears, he prepared the spider web restraints by the way. While everyone's attention was on the 8 spider spears behind him, he directly swung his big hand to control the wind chime bird spirit master in the air. Take it. And Tang San's 8 spider spears were not immune. Although the Shi brothers' Zuan Wu turtle spirits had strong defenses, they could not withstand the poison of Tang San's 8 spider spears. Under the cover of Fatty's firepower, God Tang San blocked the killing god, Buddha blocked and killed Buddha, forcing a bloody path for Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu successfully broke through to the rear of the Imperial battle team. Facing the auxiliary soul master, Xiao Wu naturally did not feel any pressure and easily won. In just a moment, Du Yuan was the only one left in Wang Dao's team. Tang San, Mo Hongjin and Xiao Wu ate the small hunting intestines that Oscar had prepared, and then approached Du Yuan step by step. There was naturally no suspense in the subsequent battle. It was impossible for Du Yuan to be the opponent of Tang San and the other 3 and be captured directly. After the Shrek 7 Devils decided to take action, the subsequent battles were very clean and neat, without any sloppiness, giving the audience extremely exciting scenes of battle scenes. After the battle, Tang-san immediately went to detoxify the 8 spider spears for several members of the Imperial fighting team, and Oscar also generously offered his own sausages. After feeling the goodwill of the Shrek 7 monsters, Yiling Len, the assistant of the Royal Fighter team, also used Jilks and Begonia to heal everyone's injuries. After all, it is a game, there is really no need to fight to the death. During the game, we are opponents, but after the game, we can be friends. The Shrek 7 monsters all recognize the strength of the Royal Dao team. Similarly, the Shrek 7 monsters also defeated them. The Imperial fighting team. Cherishing each other is not something we can talk about yet, but it is still okay to contribute some of your own strength to solve the other party's troubles. Chen Luo saw all this in his eyes. The battle was over, but he still had some unfinished thoughts. I didn't expect that someone who likes to play with tactics would end up resolving the battle in the most reckless way. That's pretty good too. Chapter 58. The most powerful one didn't show up. After winning the soul fighting competition, the Shrek 7 Devils were very happy, with extremely excited expressions on each of their faces. After Xiao Wu won, she immediately looked towards the passage. When she saw Chen Luo, the smile on her pretty face became even brighter. Tang-san had already put away the 8 spider spears at this time, and breathed a long sigh of relief. We finally won, but today I lost 1 piece of clothing and 1 silver soul coin. The fat on Ma Hongjin's face was trembling with excitement, and he went straight over to give Tang-san a bear hug. We won. We won. On the other side, Oscar was constantly changing sausages. The hand holding the sausage couldn't stop shaking, and the smile on his face couldn't stop getting stronger. Brothers, celebrate with a sausage. Daimube smiled and said, hurry up and give me 2 first, I feel like I'm almost drained. Zhu Xiuqing had woken up at this time. After Daimube took 2 sausages from Oscar, he immediately handed 1 to Zhu Xiuqing. Zhu was still a little dazed when he woke up. After looking around, he realized that he and others had 1. His usually cold and pretty face seemed to melt like ice and snow, revealing a beautiful smile. Daimube watched silently, fascinated for a moment. Zhu Xiuqing noticed Daimube's gaze, and the smile on his face disappeared instantly. He took the sausage and walked towards Ning Rongrong next to him. We won. When Zhu Xiuqing faced Ning Rongrong, his smile bloomed again. Ning Rongrong also showed an excited smile. Yes, we won, we did it. After standing on the soul fighting stage and enjoying the joy of victory for a moment, the Shrek 7 Devils left. Xiao Wu was the first to leave, rushing directly towards Chen Luo. Chen Luo, who had been waiting for the Shrek 7 monsters at the passage, had a smile on his face. He was happy for these little monsters from the bottom of his heart. Xiao Wu originally wanted to give Chen Luo a hug, but seeing so many people watching, she ended up just holding Chen Luo's arm. Chen Luo, we won. Good job. Is there any reward? I'll take you to eat something delicious later. Hey, good. Perhaps because she was too excited and happy, Xiao Wu's pretty face turned slightly red. Cough cough. Cough, cough, cough. Cough, cough, cough. Chen Luo originally wanted to tidy up Xiao Wu's hair, which was a little messy due to the battle, but suddenly there were coughs, each one louder than the last. Daimube, Ma Hongjin and the others came out. Daimube was the first to cough, followed by Ma Hongjin, and Oscar finally joined them. Chen Luo's eyes immediately fell on them, and he said with a smile, you are so awesome. This is the most exciting game I have ever seen. Congratulations on winning. Ma Hongjin walked up to Chen Luo, imitated Xiao Wu and held Chen Luo's other arm, and said in the most girly voice possible, it's a pity that Chen Luo can't compete. If you were here, we would argue winning in minutes. Chen Luo was stunned. The other members of Shrek were almost vomited by Ma Hongjin, but Xiao Wu directly stepped on him. Damn fat man, get away. Ma Hongjin seemed to have predicted Xiao Wu's movements. He let go of Chen Luo's arm in advance, jumped to the side, returned to normal, and said with a smile, Fifth sister, this is your fault. Chen Luo belongs to all of us. Why can you hug me but I can't? It's too much. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Xiao Wu immediately let go of Chen Luo's arm, and then went to fight the fat man. You damn fat man, you're tired of living, aren't you? Sister Xiao, I was wrong. Ma Hongjin said immediately. When it was time to give in, he immediately gave in. He had a correct attitude in admitting his mistake. Haha, what the fat man just said is right. If Chen Luo can play, we won't have to fight so thrillingly. Daimube smiled and said, success or failure lies in the last wave of attacks. In fact, we don't know what to do, but since Tang-san has given the command, we will bite the bullet and go ahead. Daimube was holding Tang-san's shoulders at this time. Yes, it was too thrilling, and Tang-san was too brave to fight. Without his command, we probably wouldn't have been so decisive. Ma Hongjin also smiled at this time. I have to thank third brother. In the last wave of attacks, if the third brother hadn't taken action to deal with the two Xuanwu turtle soul masters, I would have been hit by their soul skills. Even if I didn't die, I would have been seriously injured. Tang-san, actually, I'm mainly worried that Xiao Wudan will be in danger. Ma Hongjin. But I still have to thank you, third brother. Without you, I would probably be dead too. Brother, you don't have to be so polite. Tang-san and everyone looked at each other and smiled, then looked at Chen Luo. I did it. Chen Luo nodded and gave Tang-san a thumbs up. Well done. While the Shrek monsters were cheering for their victory in the game, Dean Flender, Vice Dean Zhao Wuji, and the master were watching silently, with expressions rising unconsciously on their faces. A smile of relief. At this moment, a tall and handsome figure walked over. Before the person arrived, the voice came, Dean Flanders, Vice President Zhao Wuji, how have you been lately? Disciple Qin Ming greets you. Qin Ming's appearance instantly attracted the attention of the Shrek monsters. When they learned that Qin Ming was their senior, everyone showed a look of surprise, but Chen Luo was the only one who remained calm. Qin Ming and Flanders chatted for a while, and then when they got to know each other, another piece of bombshell news came out of Flanders' mouth. That is Yu Xianheng, the captain of the Imperial Fighting Team and the owner of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit, who is actually the master's nephew. Chen Luo, who had known all this for a long time, seemed very calm, silently admiring everyone's surprised expressions. I have no relationship with the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family for a long time. After saying these words, the master left directly, probably to talk to his nephew Yu Xianheng. Afterwards, Flanders formally gave a brief introduction to the Shrek monsters and Qin Ming. When Chen Luo was mentioned, Flanders, who was already smiling proudly, suddenly became even more proud. Qin Ming, you may not believe it, but this guy is the best student in our college, Chen Luo. Oh. Qin Ming was a little surprised. It's a pity that I didn't see this junior come on stage. Zhao Wuji on the side laughed directly. Of course he can't play, it will affect the balance too much. If he plays, your students won't be able to play. Hearing this, Qin Ming was even more surprised. Junior is so powerful. Zhao Wuji nodded vigorously, and the Shrek 7 devils next to him also nodded. Finally, Flanders also nodded with a smile. Only Chen Luo was a little confused, and he was quite baffled. You were just chatting, but why did it get involved with me? Senior, don't listen to Teacher Zhao's nonsense. Chen Luo said modestly. Zhao Wuji smiled and did not tell Chen Luo about the battle with him, but he pretended to be calm and reported Chen Luo's age and level. He is only 12 years old this year and is already a level 36 fighting spirit master. When Qin Ming heard this, he was stunned. The look he looked at Chen Luo could no longer be described as surprise, but shocked and unbelievable. 12 years old, level 36, this is indeed a monster. Chapter 59 Departure, Xiandao Royal Academy. Qin Ming adjusted his emotions very quickly. Even though Chen Luo's age and soul power level shocked him, he adapted quickly. Moreover, Qin Ming paid special attention to what Zhao Wuji just said. If Chen Luo comes on stage, my students won't have anything to play with. Even if Chen Luo is extremely talented and has such a high soul power level at such a young age, he shouldn't change too much just because of him thing. Qin Ming could hear that Zhao Wuji was not lying, but he still found it hard to believe that Chen Luo's strength could change the entire battle situation. No matter how strong Chen Luo is, he can't defeat 7 with 1, right? Zhao Wuji originally wanted to say a few more words, but was immediately stopped by Chen Luo's eyes. Even if Qin Ming is a former student of your college, he wouldn't tell me all about his past, not to mention that you are talking about my past. If you have anything to say, we can continue talking to you at the hotel. Little monsters, you go and settle your points. Once you're done, hurry back to the hotel. Flanders confessed and left with Zhao Wuji and Qin Ming. Shrek and all the little monsters also immediately went to the work area of the soul fighting field to settle their points. After a while, everyone's points were all settled. Except for Tang San, everyone received silver badges, including Chen Luo. What Tang San got was the gold badge. He maintained a complete victory record whether alone or in pairs. The same was true in the team competition. The points he earned were just enough for him to be promoted to the gold badge. Others have either lost a few single-player soul fighting matches or lost in double-player soul fighting matches. The only way to get a silver badge is to win all the team soul fighting matches. Of course, Xiao Bei is an exception. He has a perfect record of victory in all the games, but he did not participate in the team fighting spirit, so he did not have enough points to upgrade to the gold badge. And Xiao Bei is not particularly interested in these things. If he didn't have money and accompany Xiao Wu to participate in a two-person soul fight, he would be too lazy to come here to participate in the so-called soul battle competition. If Xiao Bei is willing, he can get even the highest level diamond badge, not to mention the gold badge, but that thing really doesn't mean much to him. He prefers to challenge powerful opponents rather than abuse them. The Shrek 7 monsters, in addition to receiving the reward for winning the team spirit fighting competition, also received an additional generous reward from the spirit fighting field, gold soul coins. After finishing all these matters, they all returned to the hotel. Flanders and the others were drinking and chatting, but the dishes they ordered were not moved. As soon as Ma Hongjin came to the table, he immediately picked up the menu and started ordering. At the same time, he said with a smile, "Teacher, we won the game today, you have to treat us to a good meal, right?" Flanders stared at Ma Hongjin. When he saw that Ma Hongjin had ordered a few dishes, and they were all cheap dishes, a smile of relief appeared on his tense old face. However, Ma Hongjin's next words almost made Flanders strangle his only disciple to death. "I don't want any of the dishes," I ticked. "Bring the others quickly. And 2 bottles of good wine." Flanders stared at Ma Hongjin, his face livid, but Ma Hongjin simply ignored him. The other little monsters couldn't help laughing when they saw this scene. Zhao Wuji laughed directly. "It's rare for Ardeen to treat you. Fatty, you did a good job. You must give him a good meal." Qin Ming also smiled slightly. It was obvious that he, a senior who had already graduated, also knew the fact that Dean Taiguangji was there. After a short interlude, everyone continued chatting. After Qin Ming and Flender reminisced about old times, they changed the topic to the Shrek monsters. Qin Ming greatly admired the talents of Shrek's little monsters, and directly said that if these little monsters did not join Shrek, he would try every means to get them into Xiandao Royal Academy. It was also at this time that the master came back. "Even if they are from Shrek Academy, you can also bring them back to the Royal Academy." Brother Xiao Bei, I'm already full and can't eat anything anymore. Xiao Bei was shopping with Xiao Hong. Although Xiao Hong was curious about the various foods on the street, she really couldn't work up any appetite. "Then let's go buy some beautiful clothes or see if there are any interesting gadgets," Chen Luo suggested. But Xiao Hong shook her head. "Let's forget it. We'll talk about it next time. Let's go back. I'm quite tired from the spirit fighting competition tonight. I want to go back to sleep." "Okay." Chen Luo nodded. After dinner, Xiao Bei fulfilled his promise to Xiao Hong, but after walking only one street, Xiao Hong lost interest and wanted to go back. The rest of Shrek are already on their way back. Although they only played one soul fighting match today, in terms of energy and soul power consumption, it was like playing a whole day's match. Everyone is very tired and just want to go back and have a good rest. "Brother Chen Luo, are we really going to that Xiandao Royal Academy?" On the way back, Xiao Wu lay on Chen Luo's back and asked softly. You could tell from her voice that Xiao Wu was really tired today. Chen Luo was moving forward quickly and responded with a smile, "It should be so." The master and senior Qin Ming had already discussed it during the meal, and Dean Flender and the others also had no objections. But I suddenly can't let go of Shrek Academy. I remember that there was someone who disliked Shrek Academy for being so broken. It's not me anyway. Don't think too much, let everything take its course. After all, the conditions of our college are limited. It is a good thing to be able to develop in a better college. Chen Luo consoled him. Besides, all the teachers from our college will go there. We are just changing the environment and continuing to go to school. We are always from Shrek College. Actually, there is another possibility, that is, After we go to Xiandao City, we can set up Shrek Academy ourselves. Chen Luo's voice became quieter and quieter because Xiao Wu fell asleep. After returning to the dormitory, Chen Luo gently placed Xiao Wu on the bed, and then lay on the bed himself. Today I had another battle with Xiao Wuji. The feeling of fighting vigorously was great, but it was also really tiring. Looking at the ceiling, Chen Luo thought about the future development. If nothing unexpected happens, in 2 months, Shrek and the others will set off for Xiandao Royal Academy. Then some accidents will happen there, and they will go to Liu Erlong's academy, and then Shrek Academy will be established. Let everything take its course, and the check-in task will be completed soon. 2 months later. Today is the day for everyone from Shrek Academy to set off for Xiandao Royal Academy. Dean Flunder stood at the entrance of the academy for a long time, then waved his hand and left with everyone in Shrek. Chapter 60 Poison Douluo. In front of you is Xiandao Royal Academy. Including the mountain in front of you, there is a forest behind and the lake at the foot of the mountain on the left. They all belong to the scope of Xiandao Royal Academy. Ningrongrong smiled and introduced everyone. After arriving near Xiandao City, Ningrongrong had been the tour guide for everyone. Well, it looks like the environment is good, with mountains and rivers nearby. Maybe we can retire here in the future. Dean Flender nodded with satisfaction, and several other Shrek teachers also looked at each other and smiled. Chen Luo, who was at the back, couldn't help but raise his lips slightly when he heard this. I'm going to be angry soon, and I still have to support myself. It has to be said that the environment of Xiandao Royal Academy is still very good, with mountains, flowing water, and a paradise. Before entering, the extremely fresh air is already blowing into your nostrils, making you feel relaxed and happy. This place is indeed very suitable for retirement. According to Ningrongrong, this place is only 20 miles away from Xiandao City. If you get tired of staying in the academy, you can always go to Xiandao City for a walk. You must know that Xiandao City is the capital of the Xiandao Empire and must be extremely prosperous. It's a pity that such a good college has an administrator who seems to be mentally retarded. Although I haven't been to Xiandao Royal Academy for a long time, I still remember the way up the mountain. Under the leadership of Ningrongrong, Shrek and others began to go up the mountain. Not long after walking, they encountered a bridge blocked by shabby students, including Zubeng, the future king of the Xiandao Empire. I don't know if Zubeng's acting skills are really good, or if this guy is acting in his true colors, showing off his arrogant, domineering and brainless character to the fullest. Chen Luo almost couldn't help but step forward and slap him twice. Of course, Chen Luo definitely didn't have the chance to take action. Daimubei beat those bad students all over the floor by himself. Later, teacher Sun Buayu from Xiandao Royal Academy appeared. After learning the identities of Shrek, he immediately said some kind words and took Shrek up the mountain. The academy was halfway up the mountain. Sun Buayu took the Shrek Academy group directly to a reception room, briefly entertained them, and immediately went to find Qin Ming. Qin Ming appeared quickly and entertained everyone in Shrek very warmly. After having a sumptuous dinner together, he took them to the residence that had been prepared long ago. During this period, Qin Ming told all the situations at Xiandao Royal Academy, including the treatment of Shrek teachers. Chen Luo couldn't arouse the slightest interest in those things because they were leaving tomorrow. The next morning, after Qin Ming and everyone in Shrek had a sumptuous breakfast, they went to the Xiandao Royal Academy Education Committee. Everything had been finalized, and this was the final formality. The more I look at the environment of Xiandao Royal Academy, the more I feel that Shrek Academy is like a poor school in a remote village. The gap is really huge. Chen Luo's eyes passed over the magnificent buildings in the Xiandao Royal Academy, and finally followed the large army to the tallest building. Although it was only a single-story building, the highest point was at least 10 meters high. At first glance, Chen Luo thought he had arrived at the Spirit Hall. Entering the building, Shrek and everyone successfully met the 3 education committee elders Meng Shenji, Bai Baoshan and Zhilin, and Flanders chatted happily with him. Seeing a strong man of Contra level again, Chen Luo felt a little ups and downs in his heart, but he couldn't say he was very excited. The 3 old men in front of him were very kind and gave people a good feeling. Since Tang-san performed very well in the previous soul fighting competition, Meng Shenji and the others specially called Tang-san out and tested him. What happened after that was basically consistent with Chen Luo's memory. Tang-san withstood the pressure and should have gained a lot. Especially after seeing Tang San's 8 spider spears with attached soul bones, Meng Shenji and others couldn't help it. Be amazed by it. I really didn't expect, that such a genius would appear in our world of soul masters. I'm so lucky to be able to see you all here today. Meng Shenji's emotional words were similar to what Chen Luo remembered. Seeing others praising the students of his college, Flanders, as the dean, was still a little happy and excited. His eyes stayed on Chen Luo from time to time, as if he wanted to give Meng Shenji and others some more surprises. Fortunately, Flanders finally endured it. Of course Chen Luo noticed Flanders' gaze, but he always chose to ignore it. He himself is a relatively low-key person and doesn't like to be too public. Flanders then chatted with Meng Shenji and others for a while. Both parties talked very happily and successfully settled the matter. When everyone in Shrek Academy was preparing to say goodbye and return to their own courtyard, without any surprise, the Harlequin appeared. Zhu Bang appeared with his good uncle Prince Snowstar, but everyone's attention fell on the old man next to their uncle and nephew. The old man has a slender figure, his beard and hair are all dark green, and his eyes are more like emeralds. His whole person gave people an illusory feeling, like a phantom. The expression on his face was completely stiff, his cheeks were sunken, his green hair was messy, and his clothes were only simple gray robes. Is he Douluo? The old man in front of him was completely consistent with the image of Douluo in Chen Luo's impression. Seeing Douluo, Chen Luo was somewhat excited. After all, he was one of the classic characters in Douluo. In addition to being excited, Chen Luo was even a little scared. He could very clearly feel an extremely dangerous aura from Douluo. This was something Chen Luo had never felt before, even when facing the control-level Meng Shenji and others. Is this the sense of oppression that title Douluo feels? It felt like as long as Douluo wanted to take action, no one present would survive. Chen Luo noticed that Xiao Wu was very nervous, so he took the initiative to approach Xiao Wu and held Xiao Wu's hand. After feeling the warmth from Chen Luo's palm, Xiao Wu calmed down. After the Harlequin appears, what follows is the Harlequin's solo show. Prince Zhu Xing relied on Douluo's support to force everyone from Shrek away. Chen Luo, who had long known that such a result would occur, was not surprised at all, nor did he feel too much, but the rest of Shrek was different, and they all seemed very aggrieved. Originally, Meng Shenji and the other 3 wanted to stand up for Shrek, but in the end the kindness was rejected by the master. The master took Flender and left with Shrek and everyone. I'm finally gone. The oppression of title Douluo is really too strong. Chen Luo breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Even though he had thought about various possibilities and made all kinds of psychological preparations before coming to Xiandao Royal Academy, after coming here and seeing Douluo, he only had one thought in his mind idea. Don't get into an accident while riding a horse, otherwise someone will really die. Chapter 61 Almost got arrested. Brother Chen Luo, I think this Lanba Academy is quite good. The environment is no worse than that of Xiandao Royal Academy. The woods were dark and quiet. Chen Luo and Xiao Wu were walking side by side. Xiao Wu looked at everything around him curiously and said with a smile, I think so too. Chen Luo nodded. The environment is not particularly important to Chen Luo. Even in a mimicry training environment, it is estimated that no academy would have a suitable venue for Chen Luo. After all, Chen Luo's martial spirit is not a simple sickle, but a god of death. If he has to find a mimetic training environment, mass graves, cemeteries, etc. are probably the most suitable for him. Although Lanba Academy is not as big as Xiandao Royal Academy and the environment is several grades worse, for Chen Luo, it is already very good. As for what Xiao Wu said about a better environment at Lanba Academy, it was just to comfort herself. After leaving Xiandao Royal Academy, Shrek and his group came to Xiandao City, and Qin Ming also left Xiandao Royal Academy together. I have to say that Qin Ming, this senior, is really kind and attaches great importance to relationships. He is willing to wander around with Shrek and others regardless of the generous treatment from Xiandao Royal Academy, and he blames himself very much. At the gate of Xiandao City, Flanders and the others saw the recruitment flyer of Lanba Academy, and immediately led Shrek and others to Lanba Academy. With Flanders and his team's strength, they would receive a warm welcome no matter which academy they went to. During the onboarding test, when Qin Ming turned on the Wuhan, he scared the test teacher to the point of breaking out in cold sweat. When Flanders and others turned on the Wuhan, they were scared to the point where their legs became weak. Of course, the test passed perfectly, and even seriously exceeded the standard. Lanba Academy originally only wanted to recruit some teachers with soul sect strength, but never expected that it would recruit a group of big guys. The teacher named Yinshu immediately took everyone from Shrek to see the dean of Lanba Academy, and then there was the scene of the reunion of brother and sister, and the reunion of lovers. At this time, the master should be taking a walk with Liu Erlong. Looking back on everything that happened in the morning, the corners of Chen Luo's lips raised unconsciously. Tiandao Royal Academy has left. Soon, Lanba Academy will be renamed Shrek Academy, and the Simon task is about to be completed. Chen Luo thought to himself. At this time, Xiao Wu seemed to have recalled what happened in the morning. Unlike Chen Luo's slightly raised lips, Xiao Wu was full of energy. That prince is too abominable. Xiao Wu finally couldn't restrain her anger and said fiercely, I really want to beat him up. Maybe others also have their own difficulties. Chen Luo said with a smile. Xiao Wu immediately said, what difficulties could he have? Why did he treat us like this? There are real difficulties. Meng Shenji and others are all members of Zhu King, Zhu Bang's eldest brother. If Shrek and the others join Xiandao Royal Academy, Zhu King's strength will be greatly increased. Prince Zhu Xing also deliberately acts as a villain. Everything is for Avalanche. Chen Luo knew everything, but when he thought of Prince Zhu Xing's ugly face, he still couldn't help but frown. Seeing Xiao Wu's angry look again, he immediately echoed, I want to beat him up too. After a while, Xiao Wu gradually calmed down and then started talking about another topic. Is it true that brothers and sisters can't be together? Xiao Wu asked. Chen Luo nodded and affirmed, of course not, that is against ethics. Did you just hear about the master and Dean Liu Erlong? Yes. Xiao Wu nodded, with a somewhat complicated expression. When Chen Luo saw Xiao Wu's worried look, he couldn't help but smile. We are not brothers and sisters, why do we think so much? Besides, I never said I wanted to be your brother. That's right. Xiao Wu's big watery eyes suddenly lit up. She glanced at Chen Luo, and then immediately lowered her head. Her pretty face turned red instantly. Chen Luo originally wanted to take advantage of this good atmosphere to hold Xiao Wu's hand, but he suddenly sensed something and immediately said to Xiao Wu, I suddenly remembered that I have something to do with Tang-san. You go and meet the dean and the others first. I'll be here later. Xiao Wu was a little confused, but nodded and followed the instructions. Seeing Xiao Wu leaving, Chen Luo breathed a sigh of relief, but soon became nervous again. That oar had been locked on him, and it was obviously running towards him. Come out. Chen Luo spoke. Although he was calm on the surface, his heart was already in turmoil. Your boy is really not simple. A hoarse voice suddenly sounded, and then a green figure quietly appeared. It was Douluo. Chen Luo looked at Douluo warily. What do you want to do? Catch you. A very direct answer without any nonsense. Chen Luo was completely confused, and wanted to say something. Why are you trying to catch me like crazy? Tang-san is over there. It was Tang-san who beat your granddaughter violently, and he has nothing to do with me. But now is obviously not the time to vent your emotions. You can only stay calm as much as possible, although being calm at this time has no effect. Chen Luo began to mobilize all his soul power, preparing to activate his martial spirit. Even if he knew that he could not escape from the title Douluo, he still had to try. I thought you were special, but it turns out that's just the way it is. It's probably because your martial soul is special, so I can't see your strength. Douluo looked at Chen Luo calmly, and his figure gradually disappeared, as if he had given up on the goal of Chen Luo. Chen Luo breathed a sigh of relief instantly, his back already soaked with cold sweat. Is that old guy interested in me because he can't see my strength? Did you make a mistake? He is so old, but he is still like a curious baby and almost sent me away directly. When Douluo left, Guzi whispered very quietly, but Chen Luo's hearing was far better than that of ordinary people. He could hear every word very clearly, and he instantly understood the reason for Douluo's appearance. Fortunately, I didn't activate the martial spirit. If I had activated the martial spirit, and saw my soul ring configuration, I would probably take it away directly. Chen Luo thought about it and was extremely frightened, and swallowed subconsciously. No matter what the old guy thinks, who can figure out the thoughts of title Douluo? As long as you are still fine. Chen Luo tried hard to calm down his mood, and then made up his mind, we have to work hard. This feeling of powerlessness is really uncomfortable. Before Chen Luo could recover, some subtle noises suddenly came from the other side of the woods. It seemed that Tang San had suffered. Chen Luo did not go over immediately, but waited for a while, until he heard the master's footsteps hurriedly sounded, then he took action. As expected, Tang San was captured by Douluo. Not only would nothing happen to Tang San, he would also gain a lot. But if you are too anxious and try your best to get over it, it will be a big mistake if Douluo changes his mind and takes you with him. Running towards the direction where the master and the others were, Chen Luo said directly, "I just saw Douluo." Before the master and the others asked where Tang San was going, the master paused and immediately said, "It must be him. He was the one who captured Tang San." It was that cold aura that was right. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62 Armor of Death. A month later, Chen Luo stood at the entrance of the academy, silently watching the academy's plaque change to Shrek Academy. The day has finally come. The system task is finally completed. Chen Luo walked slowly towards the academy, waiting for the system prompt to arrive. Successfully signed in at Xiao Royal Academy, successfully joined New Shrek Academy. The current main mission has been completed, and received the reward, Armor of Death. Chen Luo could very clearly sense that there was something extra in the storage space of the death bracelet, and he immediately walked towards his dormitory. As soon as he returned to the dormitory, Chen Luo immediately opened the storage space of the death bracelet. I saw an extremely delicate black armor suspended in the storage space, and Chen Luo immediately took it out. The death god's armor fell into Chen Luo's hands. Before Chen Luo had time to appreciate it, he saw the death god's armor turn into a burst of black light points and go straight to his chest. The next second, the death armor appeared again, but it was already worn on Chen Luo's body. Fits great and is light, almost weightless. Even through his clothes, Chen Luo could still feel waves of coolness emanating from the death armor. At the same time, he also felt a slight sensation from the death bracelet on his wrist. The death god's armor almost covered Chen Luo's upper body. The dark armor gave people a very special metallic texture. If you look closely, you can also find extremely fine formations on the armor. The formations are also black. If you don't look carefully, it's impossible to spot. Before Chen Luo had time to study it carefully, the system prompts sounded in his mind one after another. Armor of the God of Death, artifact, one of the God of Death suits. It provides absolute defense and ignores all mental and soul attacks. The strength of the defense is proportional to the host's strength. Death bracelet, artifact, one of the death sets, providing storage space and necromantic space. Ring of the God of Death, artifact, one of the God of Death suits, concealing the aura. Other functions have not yet been unlocked. Death set effect, artifact, collect 3 pieces, and all effects will be doubled. At the same time as the system prompt sounded, Chen Luo saw that the death armor and the death bracelet were emitting a faint black light, and it seemed that a special connection had been established. And the ring of death? Even though the death ring is on Xiao Wu's body, the absolute ownership of the death ring still belongs to Chen Luo. He can still sense the existence of the death ring and the special feeling it emits due to the suit's effect. I wonder if Xiao Wu can see the special changes of the death ring. Chen Luo glanced at the death armor, then with a thought, the death armor disappeared. The artifact is powerful. In addition to its powerful effects, it is also very convenient to retract and retract. Chen Luo knew very well that these artifacts had not yet been fully activated. But the current effect is also very strong, and it can be unlocked continuously as his strength increases. With the armor of death, my life-saving ability has been greatly improved. If I have the opportunity, I can practice with Xiao Wuji and try out the defensive effect of the armor of death. The death suit also has additional bonuses. All effects are doubled. The defense of the death armor is not yet visible, but you can take a look at the death bracelet. Doubling the effect means that the storage space of the death bracelet is doubled, and the number of undead stored in the undead space is also doubled. Chen Luo immediately opened the death bracelet. As he expected, both the storage space and the death space were greatly improved. The storage space could originally be used to store items in one room, but now the space has doubled. Although Chen Luo seldom uses or even cannot use such a large space, not using it and not having it are two different things. Compared with storage space, the necromancer space is obviously more important to Chen Luo. With a blessing of the suit effect, the necromancer space can now store 4 necromancers. The 10,000 years crypt demon spider and the 10,000 years nightmare centipede, which had previously awakened in the star forest, were quietly in their respective positions. The crypt demon spider had fully recovered from its injuries, and its aura had also become stronger. It should now be at around 500 years of strength. The nightmare centipede has not recovered from its injuries, and its breath has improved even more obviously. It now has at least 500 years of strength. It seems that the 2 undead spirits, the crypt demon spider and the nightmare centipede, have improved their strength for 500 years, but the 2 are not the same concept at all. It becomes more difficult to upgrade a soul master's soul power level as it goes up, and the same is true for the strength of a soul beast, and it is even more difficult to improve than a soul master. At this rate, as long as I don't die, is it possible for both of them to be promoted to the 10-year level? Chen Luo suddenly looked forward to it. It hasn't been long since he obtained the 3rd soul ring and awakened the crypt demon spider and nightmare centipede, about a year. In such a short period of time, it is already very terrifying that the crypt demon spider and nightmare centipede can achieve such improvement. There are 2 more vacancies for dead souls. Let's find an opportunity to fill them. Of course, the more dead souls who are absolutely loyal, the better. But we have to pursue quality. At least it cannot be worse than these 2. Try to find the strongest configuration that I can currently collect. When it becomes more powerful in the future, I will consider replacing it. Chen Luo made a plan in his mind. There is also the Ring of the God of Death. Since it is also one of the God of Death suits, it must also have extraordinary effects. It is definitely not just for concealing the breath. The system also prompts that other functions have not yet been unlocked. It probably has something to do with my strength. When my strength is strong enough, the other functions of the death ring will naturally be unlocked. Other death equipment also have such characteristics, and the effects they can impart are affected by the strength. The influence of my own strength, even though the ring of death is not on Chen Luo's body, the special connection has been established long ago, otherwise Chen Luo would not be able to receive the prompts from the system and enjoy the effects of the death suit. The ring of death is also very special and can be given to others. Other death god equipment, such as the death god bracelet and the death god armor just obtained, cannot be handed over to others. They are automatically put on as soon as they appear, as if they have become a part of Chen Luo's body. Dong dong. There was a sudden knock on the door, and then the master's voice came from outside the door. Is it in the dormitory? Exist. Chen Luo opened the door, and the master stood at the door with a serious face. I found the mimicry training venue you want, come with me, the master said. Chen Luo nodded immediately. Okay. The academy's mimic training venue has been completed, but there is no one suitable for Chen Luo. Of course, if Chen Luo hadn't told him, no one would know where Chen Luo was suitable for practicing. Under the leadership of the master, Chen Luo went to the back mountain of the college. Chapter 63, A treasured place for cultivation. You wouldn't know until you leave, but it turns out that Lamba Academy, oh, it should be called Shrek Academy now, is pretty big. The hill behind the college is not high. It is just over 50 meters tall. It is just a small hill. There are not many trees on it. It looks a bit bare. From a distance, it looks like a huge tomb. Even though the location of the academy is relatively remote, it is still within Xiandao City. This is the capital of the Xiandao Empire. Every inch of land is precious, but there is still such a place that has not been developed. It would be too wasteful. Arriving at the foot of the mountain, the master slowly spoke. This place definitely meets your environmental requirements for mimicry practice. I heard from Erlong that this place was originally a mass grave. Chen Luo glanced at it and nodded. He had already sensed some special existence. Mass graves, that's what he likes. I have something else to do, so I'll leave now. You can practice on your own. If this place isn't suitable, then look for another place. It doesn't matter if you don't want to go to the classroom. I've already said hello to you. Just practice. As for learning the relevant theoretical knowledge about soul masters, I will give Xiao Wu a few books and ask her to take them back to the dormitory. The master gave a brief explanation and left. During this time, the master looked much more haggard, obviously worried a lot about Tang San's affairs. Since Tang San was captured by Douluo a month ago, the master has been losing weight day by day. During this period, the Golden Iron Triangle made a special trip to the forest where Douluo was, and seemed to have already fought against Douluo. It seems that the agreement has been reached, otherwise the master and the others would not be able to come back. Even so, as Tang San's teacher, the master was still extremely worried about Tang San's safety. He always spoke very calmly and even comforted Flanders and Liu Erlong, but in fact he was suffering the most in his heart. Only the Golden Iron Triangle and Chen Luo knew about Tang San's capture. The master kept the matter a secret. When the other Shrek monsters asked about Tang San's whereabouts, the master said that Tang San had gone to practice secretly. Later in this month, the master helped Flender and Liu Erlong complete the handover of the academy, and Lamba Academy was renamed Shrek Academy. Chen Luo looked at the mountains in front of him, then walked towards the mountains. In fact, there was no need for the master to remind Chen Luo that he got some special feelings as soon as he came here, and he already knew that this place was definitely not simple. Sure enough, here is a mass grave. The master's work efficiency is relatively high, and he found a suitable mimicry training venue for him so quickly. As for opening his mouth on this matter, Chen Luo would certainly not reveal his true martial soul, the Death God. He would only say that the Death God's scythe was somewhat special, and that it would be faster to practice in places such as cemeteries or mass graves. Although the master was a little surprised by this, he didn't say much. He only recorded things about his martial soul in a thick notebook, but he had never seen the master come over to ask about the details of his martial soul. I think the master simply recorded it. That's fine, I'm too lazy to talk nonsense to the master anymore. When you come to the mountain, you can see far away, and the entire college can be seen. On the other side of the mountain is a huge deep pit, which is almost the size of most of the college and at least 2 meters deep. It can be seen at a glance that the big pit has been filled in, and its true depth can no longer be guessed. Such a large area of land was so abandoned, as if it had remained that way for many years. There are no overgrown weeds in the big pit. There are only a few trees more than 10 meters high standing, but the trees look like they have died long ago. The same situation is true for the large area around the big pit, only they are almost separated. From a distance of 10 meters, you can barely see some green. No wonder this area has not been developed. It is too dead. After Chen Luo glanced at it, a faint smile appeared on his face, but this place is a treasured place for cultivation for me. The more dead people there were, the more Chen Luo liked it. In just a few breaths, Chen Luo arrived at the pit, and even walked to a relatively middle position in the pit. It was obviously the sweltering summer, but there was a very cold feeling in the big pit, and it was chilly behind my back. If another person came here, he would be a little uncomfortable, but Chen Luo felt as if he was going home, and his whole body felt refreshed. Practice quickly and work hard to become stronger. Chen Luo immediately sat down cross-legged and entered a state of cultivation. Facts have proven that if you practice in a mimetic training environment corresponding to a martial spirit, your soul power will increase faster and it will be easier to enter the cultivation state. As soon as Chen Luo started to use the death technique, the energy around him began to gather crazily on him, especially the special energy from the underground. Who knows how many corpses are buried here? Even though it seems like many years have passed, there is still a lot of soul energy left. Chen Luo didn't know how long he had been practicing. He didn't end his practice until he felt that the efficiency of his practice was gradually slowing down. We are getting closer to level 37. If we can keep going at this speed, it won't take long to break through. Chen Luo stood up, showed a satisfied smile, moved his body and left the pit, returning to the academy. Mere cultivation can never improve your strength quickly. You must have other methods as assistance, such as finding someone to have a good fight with. Long before he started practicing mimicry, Chen Luo had already thought about his training arrangements for the next period of time. Practicing in a simulated environment is essential, as is combat training at regular intervals. Combat training is not only about improving one's actual combat ability, but also about challenging one's limits and further stimulating one's potential. It's not enough to keep practicing hard, and it's not enough to keep fighting. Only by combining the two and finding a suitable balance can you best improve your strength. Chen Luo actually has another faster way to improve his strength, which is to use soul hunting to harvest souls to increase his strength. But this method is too addictive, and no one can refuse the method of rapidly improving strength, which is like cheating, even if the cost is to go further in the future. Chen Luo's concentration is really good, and he can control himself all the time. If it were another person, who would talk about the future with you, let the present moment be enough before talking. But having said that, Soul hunting is not completely unusable, it just needs to be used as few times as possible. Of course you have to use it when you have the right opportunity. You can just practice and consolidate it afterwards, and you must restrain the desires in your heart. After returning to the dormitory, Chen Luo took a shower and changed clothes, then went to the college's office building. Normally, Xiao Wuqi would be there. Since coming to Xiandao City, I haven't had a good discussion with Xiao Wuji, and I don't know if teacher Xiao misses those days of training at Shrek. Chapter 64 Fighting Xiao Wuji again. The new check-in mission requires the 4th soul ring to be refreshed, but it's fast. With a little effort, it won't take long to break through level, comma. On the way to the college office building, Chen Luo took a look at the new check-in tasks. As in the past, new soul rings were required to refresh the tasks. The reward for this mission is Death's Armor. Will the reward for the next mission be Death's Boots or something like that? It's best for me to collect the Death Suit by completing the mission. After I get 3 pieces of equipment, I can trigger the suit. The effect will definitely be stronger if you collect them all. Not long after, Chen Luo came to the office building of Shrek Academy and happened to meet the master who was out. Hey, Chen Luo, are you done practicing? The master asked in surprise. Yes. Chen Luo nodded, wondering if I could come here before I finished practicing. The master said, I originally expected you to be in seclusion for at least a month, but I didn't expect you to come out so soon. How was the effect of your cultivation? Very good. Chen Luo smiled. Okay, keep going. The master gently patted Chen Luo on the shoulder, then passed by Chen Luo, and reminded Chen Luo, Xiao Wuji is in the office. If you want to train with him, just go to the academy playground. It is good. Chen Luo smiled helplessly. Is my purpose here so obvious? When we went to the office building, the college leaders were all on the 2nd floor. Before Chen Luo could go upstairs, he was suddenly stopped by a teacher. Hey, which class are you in? If you need anything, go directly to your class teacher. The person who stopped Chen Luo was a female teacher, about 30 years old, wearing a green dress. She looked pretty good, but her figure was a bit ordinary. Chen Luo smiled politely. Hello, teacher, I'm looking for teacher Xiao Wuji. The female teacher frowned and was about to say something, but then an old voice suddenly sounded. Let him go up. The person who spoke was a tall old man. Although he was old, he was in good spirits. It was Li Yusong. When Li Yusong saw Chen Luo, he showed a rare smile. Little monster, I haven't seen you for a while. I heard from the master that you went into seclusion to practice. Yes, teacher Li. Xiao Wuji is up there. You came here to get him for actual combat training, right? Yes. By the way, my purpose of finding Xiao Wuji has already been written on my face. Li Yusong said, go ahead. If I have a chance in the future, I would also like to practice with you. Welcome anytime. Chen Luo smiled politely and then went upstairs. Teacher Li, why have I never seen that student before? He rarely appears in the academy, so it's normal not to see him. Is he Tang San among the Shrek 7 monsters? No, he is Chen Luo. Chen Luo. Well, it's normal if you don't know him. He has always been very low-key. The Shrek 7 monsters are a group of little monsters. He is a monster among monsters. More powerful than Tang San. Of course, when we were in Soto City, he could compete with Xiao Wuji. Now he will only be stronger. What? Dong dong. Chen Luo knocked on the door. Come in. What sounded inside the door was a female voice. It was Liu Erlong. The office door opened, revealing an extremely simple office environment. A few desks and office chairs all look very cheap, presumably made by Flanders. Liu Erlong was dealing with some documents in the college, while Xiao Wuji lay on his desk and fell asleep. They were the only two in the office. Chen Luo? Are you here to see the master? He just went out and was about to see how Dime Yubei and the others were practicing. Liu Erlong said with a smile. I have to say that Liu Erlong is really very beautiful, with no trace of time left on her delicate face, and a special charm of a mature woman. She has an extremely hot figure and is an almost perfect woman, but her vision is not very good. No, I'm looking for teacher Xiao. Chen Luo said. Finally there is someone who can't see my purpose. When Liu Erlong heard this, he immediately shouted loudly, Xiao Wuji. Xiao Wuji was shocked and immediately sat up. He was still a little confused. He subconsciously turned his head and looked at Liu Erlong. What's wrong? Chen Luo is looking for you. When Xiao Wuji saw Chen Luo, he gradually woke up. He wiped the remaining saliva from the corner of his mouth and grinned. Little monster, why do you suddenly think of you, Teacher Xiao? I heard from the master, aren't you practicing in seclusion? The training is over, I'm looking for you for actual combat training. Can you not go? Okay. I've been busy with college affairs lately, so tired. Liu Erlong said at this time. Chen Luo, don't listen to his nonsense. He sleeps here every day, but occasionally he is called by Flanders to help. Chen Luo looked at Xiao Wuji calmly. Xiao Wuji smiled sheepishly. Okay, let's go. Then he looked at Liu Erlong. Are you interested in joining us? This guy is very strong. Liu Erlong said, you go first, I will come back later, and these matters will be taken care of immediately. It is good. College playground. The construction of the playground has not been completed yet, and most of it is wasteland. Although it looks unsightly, it is perfect for fighting and other purposes. Flanders went shopping in person, but he is still as stingy as ever, fearing that others will take a piece of him out of him. I said half a month ago that I wanted to renovate this playground, but it hasn't been done yet. Xiao Wuji curled his lips and said. Chen Luo smiled slightly. Dun Flender also wants to save money for the college. He's just a picky, tough guy. Xiao Wuji stretched his muscles a little. Okay, let's not talk about him anymore. Let's start actual combat training. It's been a long time since I had a good fight with you. Oh, by the way, has your boy's strength improved again? What is your soul power level now? Tell Teacher Xiao first so that Teacher Xiao can be prepared. Xiao Wuji seemed very cautious. He became so cautious after a certain loss. Chen Luo said, it's still level 36, unchanged. Oh, I know. Xiao Wuji nodded, it seems that you are not far from level 37, otherwise you wouldn't come to me suddenly. Chen Luo smiled and nodded, that's right. Xiao Wuji, then come. Strong King Kong Bear, possessed. Martial Soul Real Body. After Xiao Wuji activated his martial soul, he immediately activated his martial soul's true form. After the golden light flashed, a golden giant bear appeared. Chen Luo's face twitched slightly. Teacher Xiao, is it necessary? Just go to the martial soul's true form. It has to be opened later anyway, so open it early and suffer less. After saying that, Xiao Wuji looked around, opened and closed his mouth, and roared with a loud voice. Students in the playground and students near the playground, listen to me. Run away quickly to avoid accidentally hurting you. If you want to watch the battle, please pay attention to a safe distance. In fact, there was no one on the playground at all, so it was a good thing that Xiao Wuji didn't yell. As soon as he shouted this sentence, a lot of people gathered near the playground, including students and teachers. Chen Luo frowned slightly. Is this intentional? Chapter 65 Horror. Seemingly noticing Chen Luo's helpless expression, Xiao Wuji laughed and said, Little monster, you must pay some price for training with me. We are new to Shrek, so we have to show it to the teachers and students here. Our Shrek's strength, in terms of official duties, Xiao Wuji may be really incompetent, so he can only sleep soundly when he stays in the office. But at certain special moments, this teacher Xiao will immediately stand up and never miss any opportunity to contribute. Use your own strength. Chen Luo looked at the more and more people around the playground, sighed softly, and then activated his martial spirit. Possessed by death. The shadow of the god of death that only Chen Luo could see appeared in front of Chen Luo, and then merged into his body. The scythe of death appeared quietly and was held tightly in Chen Luo's hand. 2 purple soul rings rose from Chen Luo's feet one after another, and the last deep black soul ring appeared, and Chen Luo's whole aura reached its peak in an instant. Outside the playground, the teachers and students who were noisy suddenly became quiet, and each of them unconsciously widened their eyes. When Xiao Wuji activated his martial soul and activated his martial soul's true form, it already caused a lot of exclamations. However, everyone knew Xiao Wuji and knew that there was such a powerful teacher in the academy. In addition to being surprised, they were more yearning and awed. Chen Luo is different. From Chen Luo's appearance, it is easy to tell that Chen Luo is also a student of the college, but he has rarely been seen. Compared with the powerful teacher, the identity of the student is obviously closer to everyone. Until Chen Luo activated his martial spirit, until they saw the terrifying combination of 2 purple and 1 black spirit rings, until they felt Chen Luo's extremely powerful aura. Fuck. 2,000-year soul rings and 1 10,000-year soul ring, are these still human beings? Such a young soul master. Are you still paying attention to his level? Look at his soul ring. Black. That soul ring is black. A 10,000-year soul ring. Oh my god, a 10,000-year soul ring. After the silence, there was an even more noisy scene. Various exclamations sounded. Many people rubbed their eyes vigorously for fear that they had seen wrongly. Some people pinched themselves vigorously for fear that they were dreaming. Or hallucinations or something like that. Shrek's other little monsters also came. The movement caused by Xiao Wuji's activation of the martial soul's true form was quite large. Although the huge soul power fluctuation did not affect the entire academy, it also covered most of the area. Shrek's other little monsters, as soon as they noticed such fluctuations in soul power, they came over immediately. I'll go, Vajra Bear? Did Teacher Xiao have a brain twitch? Why don't you open the martial soul avatar if you have nothing to do? Ma Hongjin's chubby little face was full of incomprehension. Oscar reminded, Fat man, first look at who is standing opposite Teacher Xiao. Chen Luo? Isn't he practicing? Ma Hongjin had a surprised look on his face, and then he noticed the existence of Chen Luo. The main reason was that the powerful King Kong bear was too obvious. Everyone who came here was attracted by the powerful King Kong bear at the first sight. The training must be over. Don't you feel that his aura has become stronger again? Daimube smiled and said, What's so surprising about this? Is this the first time you have seen such a situation? When I sensed this movement, I had already guessed it. Ningrongrong looked at Xiao Wu next to him with some doubts. You also just know. Xiao Wu nodded slightly. Yes. I'll teach him a lesson later when I go back. He actually didn't go to you immediately after training. Ningrongrong said with a smile. Xiao Wu said, he should be about to break through. A breakthrough again. Ningrongrong frowned slightly, then smiled angrily. Can you please let your guy slow down a little bit? I feel that the gap between us and him is getting bigger and bigger. Zhu's Huking stood aside coldly. She had always been the least talkative among the Shrek 7 monsters, but the slightly surprised expression on her cold face had reached an agreement with the other little monsters. On the playground, Chen Luo and Xiao Wuji had their first battle. Chen Luo's speed increased to the extreme, and Xiao Wuji had already been prepared to deal with it. The third soul skill gravity enhancement was immediately activated, and Chen Luo's speed instantly dropped a lot. Immortal. Chen Luo immediately activated immortality. Black flames spread all over his body, and his momentum increased again. At the same time, the black death armor quietly appeared on Chen Luo's body. This is the first time that Chen Luo has activated a death god's armor in an immortal state. Of course, this is also the second time that Chen Luo has activated a death god's armor. The black flame seems to be able to perfectly coexist with a death armor. The death armor's defense seems to have been improved again, and it also has the special effects of the black flame. In addition to its defensive effect, the death god's armor was frantically devouring the surrounding energy to supply Chen Luo, and the recovery speed of his soul power increased by another level. If there were a few more pieces of death god equipment, and all of them had the function of restoring soul power, there would probably be no need to worry about the time limit when activating immortality. With the advantage of speed, Chen Luo was able to launch his first attack. His figure quickly came to Xiao Wuji, and the death sickle covered with the black flames fell and chopped on Xiao Wuji's head. Black flames swept across suddenly, directly roasting the bear's head. Almost at the same time that the black flame disappeared, Chen Luo's third soul skill, Shadow Binding, was activated. The black 10,000-year soul ring suddenly lit up, and countless black shadows erupted from the death side, instantly restraining the huge and powerful Vajra bear. Chen Luo immediately launched a second attack, and the huge death scythe fell again, once again showing the roasted bear's head. Being swept up by the black flames twice in a row, even though Xiao Wuji was in the form of his martial soul and his defense was astonishing, it was still a bit too much to bear. The huge bear's head was burned black, and many of its golden hairs were scorched. The most perverted thing was the corrosive ability of the black flames. There were already many hideous wounds on the bear's head. Little monster, you are too cruel. You will kill him as soon as you come up. Xiao Wuji used his soul power to drive away the remaining black flames on his head, and then launched an attack on Chen Luo. Shadow Binding has the absolute ability to restrain opponents of the same level, but facing an entity whose strength far exceeds your own, it is already good to be able to provide yourself with an opportunity to deal damage. Chen Luo seemed to have predicted Xiao Wuji's attack a long time ago, and after the second attack, He had already distanced himself from Xiao Wuji. How could Xiao Wuji let Chen Luo leave so easily? The fifth soul skill gravity squeeze was activated, and Chen Luo rushed towards Xiao Wuji uncontrollably. After all, they fought many times. After Xiao Wuji used gravity squeeze, he immediately connected with his fourth soul skill positioning and tracking, without giving Chen Luo the slightest chance. Xiao Wuji's fourth soul ring flew out and landed directly on Chen Luo. However, something strange happened suddenly. Chen Luo's black armor suddenly lit up, shattering Xiao Wuji's fourth soul ring. Puff. Xiao Wuji, who was hit by the soul skill's backlash, spat out a mouthful of blood, and his fourth soul ring regrouped, but it was obvious that the situation just now had caused great harm to him. How can that be? Xiao Wuji looked shocked, but he did not stop moving his hands, waving his huge bear paw towards Chen Luo. This is an attack that activates the second soul skill, the powerful Vajra Palm, and its power is extremely abnormal. This was not the first time Chen Luo had faced such a situation. He was squeezed by the huge force around him and could not control the direction of his body, but he could swing the death scythe. The sickle blade of the death god scythe collided with Xiao Wuji's huge bear paw. Black flames swept across, and shadows came out, all trying to weaken Xiao Wuji's power as much as possible. But even though Xiao Wuji's bear paw was instantly scorched by black flames, and countless shadows bound Xiao Wuji, the power from his palm did not decrease much. Chen Luo was sent flying out and hit the ground heavily. There was a loud bang, and a huge deep hole was dug into the ground. When the dust settled, Chen Luo climbed out again. 66 Fear. When they saw Chen Luo being beaten away, almost everyone was sweating for Chen Luo. Xiao Wuji was a level 76 soul saint. Even if Chen Luo had an extremely terrifying combination of soul rings, he would probably be seriously injured if he was beaten like that by Xiao Wuji. Especially Xiao Wu, who was so excited that she wanted to rush forward, but luckily Ning Rongrong held her back. It's not the first day you met your Chen Luo. Others don't understand Chen Luo's strength. Don't you understand? When we were in Soto City, he could often conduct combat training with teacher Xiao. Now he can only be stronger and everything will be fine. Ning Rongrong seemed very calm and comforted Xiao Wu, but in fact, Ning Rongrong's own eyes were a little worried, and so were the other Shrek monsters. I'll go, teacher Xiao is too cruel. Ma Hongjin couldn't help shouting. He seemed to have inserted himself into the battle. There were beads of sweat on his forehead, and he swallowed nervously. Dai Mubei also sighed. If I had faced teacher Zhao's slap, I would probably be dead by now. Oscar, let me prepare some sausages for Chen Luo first. He's fine, he's out. Zhu Huqing said calmly. On the surface, she was very indifferent and cold, but in fact, at that moment, a little shock and worry flashed in her eyes. The dust dispersed, and a figure suddenly rushed out from the deep pit. It was Chen Luo. On the surface, Chen Luo was not hurt at all, but his face was a little red, and the black flames on his body were even stronger. Chen Luo should be fine. If something had happened, he would probably be lying in the pit now. Dai Mubei said. Oscar breathed a sigh of relief, then looked at the sausages in his hand. Just keep these for teacher Xiao. The moment Chen Luo came out, the surrounding people screamed again. Compared to the Shrek monsters who breathed a sigh of relief, the students or teachers were surprised by Chen Luo's strength. After a soul lord withstood the soul saint's attack, he was unscathed. Of course, he is not unscathed. The appearance of no injuries does not mean that he is not actually injured. Chen Luo felt that his internal organs were about to shift. If the death armor hadn't played a huge role at the critical moment and relieved a lot of power, he probably wouldn't be able to fight in the future. At this time, there was severe pain inside the body from time to time, which was a bit unbearable, but Chen Luo was already used to this feeling. It's not like he wasn't injured when he fought with Xiao Wuji before. If Xiao Wuji only treated Chen Luo as a dead target, then the battle training between them would be meaningless. However, Xiao Wuji's attack today was really too heavy-handed. Fortunately, I have the death armor, otherwise I would have had to lie down for at least 3 days. Even if I were used as a teaching material, there would be no need to beat me up like this. Chen Luo couldn't help but sigh in his heart. The death technique was working like crazy to restore his injuries. When he looked at Xiao Wuji's embarrassed appearance, he suddenly felt that everything was acceptable. Xiao Wuji's entire bear's head was extremely dark, with various burn wounds all over it. It looked extremely miserable, and the same was true for his huge bear paws, which were just a little better than his head. Fuck. Can you still stand up? Xiao Wuji's dark bare head paused, his big mouth opened and closed, and he made incredible sounds. Xiao Wuji knew very well how much force he had just used. He just wanted to end the battle quickly. Originally, the purpose of fighting Chen Luo was simply to show the strength of the teachers and talented students in the school, but who knew that Chen Luo's attack was too fierce and seemed to be stronger than before. If the fight continues, he will definitely win in the end, but he looks a little too embarrassed. We, Xiao Wuji, are also people who want to save face. He deliberately increased his strength in order to end the battle early. The few fights just now were enough to shock the students and teachers for a while. Unexpectedly, Chen Luo stood up again and looked like he was fine. Xiao Wuji also noticed the black armor on Chen Luo at this time. His eyes suddenly lit up, and he thought to himself, it turns out that I got something good, no wonder, no wonder. Chen Luo was recovering from his injuries quickly, and Xiao Wuji was just stunned for a second before continuing to attack. In a real battle, the enemy will not give you a chance to breathe unless he completely smashes your head. Xiao Wuji's actual combat training for Chen Luo has always been very serious and intense, and he tried to make the combat as close to real actual combat as possible, so that he can better stimulate people's potential and constantly break through the limits. Of course, Xiao Wuji also knew how to hold back, otherwise it would be unreasonable that it would be very difficult to defeat a Soul Lord with his Soul Saint's strength. Even if Chen Luo is not an ordinary Soul Master, if Xiao Wuji really wants to kill Chen Luo, it will only happen in a matter of minutes. After all, there is still training behind the actual battle, and it is impossible to really face life and death. Of course, there is no doubt about Chen Luo's strength. Being able to directly force the Soul Saint to use his true form to fight is enough to explain a lot of things. Even if Xiao Wuji was willing to let loose, the level of fighting in front of him would be too much for even an ordinary Soul King, and he would probably have been defeated long ago. After Chen Luo activated immortality, his strength was infinitely close to that of the Soul King, and his combat effectiveness would only become stronger, and this was his real capital to compete with Xiao Wuji. Xiao Wuji launched an attack unceremoniously, and of course Chen Luo could no longer resist. He could only rely on his speed advantage to dodge, trying to buy himself as much time as possible to recover from his injuries. The battle situation is still very tense. Xiao Wuji can make countless mistakes, but Chen Luo only has one chance now. If he received another heavy blow from Xiao Wuji, even with a death armor to help share the damage, Chen Luo probably wouldn't be able to continue fighting. The injuries on his body recovered quickly, and Chen Luo regained his fighting power in a short while. Then the attacker and defender switched, and Chen Luo launched a violent attack. Although Xiao Wuji was able to deal with them one by one, his appearance became increasingly embarrassing. What Xiao Wuji had to block was not only the extremely sharp sickle blade of the death scythe, but also the terrifying black flames attached to the sickle blade. However, there was no way to block the thing. As soon as it came into contact, the black flames would sweep across it instantly. The Feudal Ming King body can barely be used to deal with it, but it is too difficult to grasp the timing of the battle compared with Chen Luo, a cunning little monster. Logically speaking, with Chen Luo's age and strength, it was impossible for him to experience too many battles, and this was confirmed by Tang San. Chen Luo only started actual combat training after arriving at Shrek Academy, and the target of the actual combat training was him, Xiao Wuji. But this little guy who obviously didn't fight many battles grasped the timing of the battle very well. It seems to have been honed through countless actual combat trainings, and sometimes even Xiao Wuji admires it. It's really a little monster. Xiao Wuji couldn't help but sigh. The battle lasted for just over 5 minutes. Xiao Wuji found an opportunity for Chen Luo and finally ended the battle. 5 minutes seems to be a very short time, but you must know that Chen Luo is facing a strong Soul Saint who has activated the true form of the martial spirit. Let alone holding on for 5 minutes, being able to survive one round is already extremely exaggerated. Period. Anyway, the students and teachers watching around the playground were stunned. Liu Erlong, who had arrived late, was also stunned when he saw Xiao Wuji's extremely embarrassed expression. Among the crowd, there was a tall young man. He was sweating coldly. He looked at Xiao Wu in front of him, and then looked at Chen Luo on the playground, his eyes full of fear. He is too strong. The young man said reluctantly, but he had to admit this fact. Chapter 67 Induction from the Underground. After the battle, Xiao Wuji ended his martial soul avatar. He looked extremely embarrassed, with various burns all over his body. At this time, The crowd had gradually dispersed. Of course, they still wanted to watch, but Liu Erlong gave the order, and they all had to go back. They should practice and go to class. In addition to Zhao Wuji and Chen Luo, several Shrek little monsters also stayed, and Liu Erlong also watched silently. Oscar was extremely sensible and sent the sausages that he had already prepared. At the same time, he did not forget to warn, "Teacher Xiao, you owe me at least 1,000 gold soul coins. I will give you a zero, just 1,000 gold soul coins. When will you owe me? Is the account settled?" Zhao Wuji gave Oscar a look, and Oscar shut up. But after distanced himself from Zhao Wuji, Oscar still seemed very persistent. "I have a little notebook that I have written down. Teacher Xiao, don't even think about defaulting on your debt." Zhao Wuji curled his lips, ignored Oscar, and looked at Chen Luo. "Little monster, I think we must have good rules for combat training in the future." "Rules? What rules?" Chen Luo still feels a lot of pain in his chest, but the death technique is working quickly, and it shouldn't take long for all the injuries to be healed. Zhao Wuji said, "For example, don't use your special flame in the future. Let's just train on strength and speed." Chen Luo: "If you don't use the black flames, even Teacher Zhao's defense will be difficult to break, so how can you fight?" Zhao Wuji seemed to know this, and immediately laughed. "You're just kidding, I'll fight you however you want from now on." But then again, have you become stronger again? As he spoke, Zhao Wuji glanced at Chen Luo, his eyes specifically falling on Chen Luo's chest. Chen Luo smiled slightly. "What's the change?" "It's still the same as before." Zhao Wuji chuckled and said no more. "Okay, I'm going back to sleep. Every time I finish fighting with you, I feel like I can sleep for several days." Zhao Wuji waved his hand and left directly. Mainly due to the sequelae caused by the martial soul's true form, no matter what the outcome of the battle is, he will fall into a period of weakness for several days. Chen Luo watched Zhao Wuji leave, and then chatted with the Shrek monsters for a while. Liu Erlong watched silently until Chen Luo had almost finished chatting with the Shrek monsters, and then he spoke. "I didn't expect that your boy is the strongest. Let's practice together next time we have a chance. The dean has given you the award." Chen Luo said with a modest smile. Liu Erlong smiled and said, "You don't have to be so modest. I have just seen your strength. Zhao Wuji did a good job this time. He specifically asked you to take the lead. I believe you will be a role model in the academy for a long time to come." "Yes, Teacher Xiao did a great job, thank you so much." After a brief chat, Liu Erlong looked at the Shrek monsters and asked about their cultivation status. Chen Luo listened silently. In fact, he was mainly waiting for Xiao Wu. Liu Erlong himself was not the kind of person to be long-winded. He simply asked about the situation and then left, as if he wanted to arrange for someone to repair the playground. Shrek's other little monsters said hello to Chen Luo and then went back to practice. They didn't want to waste Xiao Wu and Chen Luo's time. "Why didn't you go find me after you finished practicing?" Xiao Wu asked. In fact, she knew the reason, but she was still a little bit worried. "I'm afraid you will affect your cultivation," Chen Luo said truthfully. "HMPH. Are you going to break through again?" "Yes. It's so fast. It won't work if I don't hurry up. Only by becoming strong enough can I protect you." Chen Luo and Xiao Wu were walking side by side on the path of the academy. After walking for a while, Chen Luo took the initiative to hold Xiao Wu's hand. Xiao Wu's hands were soft, a little cold, and comfortable to hold. Because he was relatively close, he could still smell the faint fragrance emanating from Xiao Wu's body, which made Chen Luo feel a little intoxicated. "During your absence, a blind guy has been harassing me every day," Xiao Wu said. Chen Luo's expression suddenly turned cold. "Who?" Xiao Wu couldn't help but smile. "I believe he won't dare to come to me again in the future. It seems that I need to go to class for a few days," Chen Luo said seriously. Xiao Wu chuckled. "It's not that serious. Just concentrate on your cultivation and don't worry about me. I can handle it myself." Chen Luo nodded slightly. "Well, I believe in Sister Xiao's fists." Xiao Wu lightly hit Chen Luo. "Humph. After today's battle, you will become a celebrity in our academy. How do you feel?" Xiao Wu stared at Chen Luo and showed a faint smile. "There will definitely be many schoolgirls who like you. It seems that I still need to go to class for a few days," Chen Luo said seriously. Xiao Wu then showed a satisfied smile, and then talked about another thing. "This black ring suddenly glowed a few days ago. Xiao Wu said while touching the death ring on her finger. Chen Luo nodded slightly, not surprised. It's normal. Saying that, Chen Luo showed off his death armor directly in front of Xiao Wu. Are you handsome? So ugly. Xiao Wu smiled and said, it's actually not bad. Xiao Wu pointed at Chen Luo's death armor, then looked at the death bracelet on Chen Luo's wrist, and finally her eyes fell on the death ring in her own hand. Without waiting for Xiao Wu to ask, Chen Luo took the initiative and said, they are said and are related to each other. The method of obtaining them is quite special, and I can't explain it for a while. With that said, Chen Luo put away his death armor, grinned and said, it's a pity that I can't give these to you, otherwise I can give them all to you. I don't want it. It's so ugly. Don't worry, I will take good care of the ring. The communication between Chen Luo and Xiao Wu has always been so simple. They don't need too much nonsense. If there's anything, they can just say it simply and clearly. There has never been a situation where they broke the casserole and asked for the truth. They all know that each other has some secrets. When the time comes to talk about these secrets, they will tell them. There is no need to worry. After accompanying Xiao Wu for a walk in the academy, Chen Luo sent Xiao Wu to the place where Xiao Wu practiced, and then he went to the back hill of the academy. After the battle with Xiao Wuji, he felt that he was very close to level 37. If everything went well, he would be able to complete his breakthrough today. The main reason is that Xiao Wuji was really ruthless today. He couldn't recover immediately several times. The more serious the injury, the crazier the death technique was running, bringing him one step closer to a breakthrough. Come to the back mountain, enter the deep pit, find the old position, and continue practicing. The process of training is destined to be long and boring. Chen Luo doesn't know how long he has been practicing this time. Until he felt that his soul power level had successfully reached level 37, his training mission was completed. Chen Luo's breakthrough in the small level has always been very smooth. He has never encountered any problems and everything has been a matter of course. Only when there is a breakthrough across levels, one should stay for a longer period of time. After successfully reaching level 37, Chen Luo did not end his cultivation immediately. Instead, he struck while the iron was hot and wanted to continue practicing for a while. Unfortunately, this state of cultivation did not last long. Chen Luo was interrupted by a special induction. He opened his eyes and immediately looked to the ground. That feeling comes from underground. Chapter 68 Evil Soul Master Gong's Honggang. Is there something down there? Chen Luo blurted out subconsciously. After saying this, he couldn't help but curse himself. There are a lot of things down here. If there was nothing, could he practice here? During the day he was alone, but at night the place might be crowded with people. But I didn't have this special sense before. Could it be that after my strength reached level 37, my sense became stronger again? There's only this possibility. No matter what the situation, let's take a look at what the thing below is before talking about it. Chen Luo activated his martial spirit, held the death scythe and began to dig down. As the soil continued to be turned up, Chen Luo gradually saw some bones, most of which were from humans, and a few from special animals. This is indeed a mass grave. Who knows how many corpses are buried here? That thing is still down there, we need to work harder. In a short time, Chen Luo was already standing in a pit 7 or 8 meters deep to avoid collapse. He deliberately dug the pit to be very large. Even if any special situation occurred, he could be the first to do so. Time to react. A little bit. Chen Luo raised the death scythe again, and then dropped it heavily. A large area of land was cut open, and then turned into loose soil. Chen Luo easily lifted them out. The scythe is somewhat incapable of digging, but it's still good enough. With strong soul support, it's not a problem even if you dig with your hands. Another nearly half a meter of soil was lifted up, and Chen Luo finally saw the tip of the iceberg of what he sensed. It was a human hand, mostly buried in the soil, and there was still a lot of dust on it, but it could still be easily seen. It's the hand, not the hand bones. During the excavation process, Chen Luo saw various bones. When he saw the hands, he could easily identify them, and his brows suddenly frowned. He continued to dig, and after a while, the outline of a corpse appeared. He pulled the corpse hard, and the corpse of a middle-aged man wearing a black robe appeared in front of Chen Luo. The man's face was destroyed, as if his face had been torn away abruptly, leaving only an extremely blurry face. It was a corpse, but there were no signs of life on the man. It may not seem surprising to find bodies exhumed in mass graves. But the key point is that this mass grave has definitely been abandoned for a long time, as can be seen from the various bones. This big pit is not what it originally looked like. It looks like it has been filled in again. It can be seen from the traces of soil, but even if it has been filled in again, a long time has passed. When Chen Luo dug up the corpse, the soil beneath the ground gave Chen Luo a sense of eternity. No need to think, this mass grave must have a story. The corpse in front of me probably has more stories to tell. This corpse was probably buried below earlier, but it has never rotted. The same is true for the black robe on its body, which looks very special. It was this corpse that gave Chen Luo a special feeling. Before it was dug out, the induction was very weak and I could only feel the presence of the corpse. But after the body was dug out, Chen Luo's perception of this thing instantly became much clearer. You can use soul hunting on him, or even wake him up. This was Chen Luo's special reaction to this corpse. Not all corpses can use soul hunting, and not all corpses can use awakening. When it can be used, Chen Luo will receive the relevant special induction. There is no need to use soul hunting. There is only a trace of soul left in this corpse. Even if it is absorbed completely, it is probably not as much as the big python killed in Kyogo village. Chen Luo directly pressed his hand on the corpse's head to sense the condition of the corpse more directly. The corpse was very special, not much could be seen, but the remaining soul inside could be clearly sensed by Chen Luo. Then there's no need to hunt for souls. Just try to wake him up. Maybe after waking him up, you can know what happened here before. Chen Luo made a decision in his heart, but he did not act rashly, but carefully explored the condition of the body again. What surprised him was that if he used awakening on this corpse, the consumption would be very high. This is just a special feeling, and you will only know what it will be like after you use it to wake up. Curiosity killed the cat, why don't we forget it? Chen Luo suddenly hesitated. But he just hesitated for a moment. He was sure that nothing would happen to him. At most, he would be quite exhausted. There is a special existence in front of you, and you still have the method to study it. How can you resist not looking at it? The most important thing is that Chen Luo received a reminder of the mission. Wake. Chen Luo was not the kind of mother-in-law person. After weighing in his mind for a moment, he acted directly. The death scythe sank into the corpse, and his special abilities were instantly activated, and the soul power in Chen Luo's body was sucked away crazily. This situation did not last long, only about 1 minute. Chen Luo withdrew the death scythe, and his forehead was covered with fine beads of sweat. Although it only took 1 minute, it consumed almost all of his soul power, which was beyond his expectations. Stop pretending to be dead, get up quickly. Chen Luo looked at the man in front of him calmly and said calmly. The man didn't make any movement and was still lying there like a corpse. Chen Luo spoke again, get up. This time Chen Luo used a heavier tone, similar to an order. The man stood up reluctantly and made a hoarse voice, Dear Master, Guangzhongyang is willing to serve you. Don't pretend in front of me. I can know whatever you are thinking. You are just a piece of white paper in front of me. Even if there is a little bit of ink falling on it, I can see it very clearly. Guangzhongyang instantly became hysterical and roared like a beast. Who are you and what have you done to me? You know it very well, even better than me. Guangzhongyang calmed down instantly. It's so boring for you to talk like this. Tell me what I want to know. Don't you know everything about me? Why do you want me to tell you? I'm too lazy to check your messed up memories, so tell yourself. You're awesome. Guangzhongyang immediately chose to compromise. I am an evil soul master. I can improve my strength by devouring the souls of others. I can also resurrect the dead and make them my puppets. The moment I was resurrected, I thought my descendants were coming to revive me, but I didn't expect it was you. You are probably not our kind. You are stronger than us. Many years ago, I was killed by a tidal Douluo and suppressed here. Countless corpses were mixed with me, but I was given a chance to be reborn. Those bones are all of my kind. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69 The Past. The resurrection of Guangzhongyang is successful. The special task has been completed. Congratulations to the host for receiving the general reward, Death Emblem! Exclamation mark. When Guangzhongyang spoke, Chen Luo received a reminder that the task was completed. When he was hesitating whether to risk Gongzhongyang's resurrection, he received a reminder of the mission. It is a special mission, and the content of the mission is to resurrect Gongzhongyang. It was rare for Chen Luo to give up on a special mission, so he decisively chose to act. Fortunately, everything went very smoothly. Gongzhongyang was successfully resurrected and he also successfully completed the special task. It's just that the rewards for the special mission this time are not top-quality rewards, but just general rewards. Special tasks have a certain chance of obtaining the best rewards. It seems that I am not so lucky this time. Of course, this is directly proportional to the difficulty of the special tasks. The more you risk your life on a special mission, the richer the reward will be, so the possibility of getting the best reward is greater. For a special mission like this that is not very difficult, it would be nice to have a general reward. In fact, before completing a special mission, the danger of the mission cannot be speculated, and one can only take a gamble. Chen Luo was not sure that he could revive Gongzhongyang. If the revival failed, the consequences would be very serious. It's just that the special task is like a special reminder to Chen Luo, which means that you can try to take a gamble. It's like killing a giant python in the dark forest of Kyogo village, or forcibly absorbing a soul ring in the soul hunting forest. Only after trying it will you know how it goes. Gongzhongyang was still telling Chen Luo everything he wanted to know, including his origins and the past that had been lost in the years. A long time ago, a group of evil soul masters appeared in the Xiao Empire. They could devour souls and quickly increase their strength. They could also use evil means to resurrect dead animals and become their puppets. This seems to be similar to Chen Luo's soul hunting and awakening abilities, but in fact it is far different. This is why Gongzhongyang said that Chen Luo is stronger than them. The special methods used by evil soul masters like them have to pay a very high price. Devouring souls is very likely to make them lose themselves, and thus become violent and murderous and completely become evil beings. Resurrecting dead objects may turn them into evil beings. Get it right. And 2. Even if they achieve the goal of devouring souls or resurrecting dead objects, there is a great possibility of backlash later. Maybe one day the souls they devoured suddenly burst out, allowing them to finish the game directly, or the dead objects they resurrected are in there. Just kill them when you let your guard down. Chen Luo never has to worry about these problems. As long as he can use Soul Hunter, he only needs to worry about whether he can eat enough. But when using Awakening, it is the same. He only needs to worry about whether he is fed enough. As long as there are uncertain factors, he can sense them in advance and avoid them. As long as he is sure, there will be no surprises. After the soul hunting is over, you can directly improve your strength. The only thing you have to worry about is the influence of the soul owner's original memory, but this problem is not a big problem. At least you don't have to worry about the soul backlash. After the awakening is over, the dead objects are directly used by oneself, and there is no possibility of rebellion. If the undead has abnormal thoughts, Chen Luo can sense it immediately, and there is no need for Chen Luo to take corresponding measures. As long as the undead has dangerous thoughts, the special connection between them will directly erase all the undead's thoughts. Consciousness, let it become a real undead spirit. To put it bluntly, it means letting them die again, and die more completely. It is very simple to create a conscious undead. Chen Luo has already figured out a way. As long as some souls are left for awakening, then the awakened undead can be conscious. Even if the previously resurrected 10,000 years nightmare spider was like this, the same was true for the evil soul master Gongzhongyang in front of him. These are Chen Luo's natural advantages. Although on the surface his abilities look similar to those of the evil soul master, they are actually fundamentally different. Chen Luo's soul hunting and awakening are like extremely perfect magical skills, while the special abilities possessed by the evil soul master are like pirated versions of pirated versions. Although they are very powerful, they also have powerful side effects. I am one of the evil soul masters. I'm lucky. The abilities I have rarely backfire on me. This may be the reason why my faith is so strong. I have never attacked weak and pitiful people. The people I killed were all people who deserved to be killed. They were all sinful people, so I was never lost. But this is not a reason that I can use to change my identity. They judged us as evil soul masters, and we are destined to bear this name for the rest of our lives. We are like rats crossing the street. As soon as we appear, everyone will shout and beat us. I can't remember which year it was. I killed a conscientious nobleman. He killed countless innocent children just for his dream of immortality. He was the real devil, but because of that he was a nobleman and I was quickly retaliated against. I and my companions were all caught. That man was very strong. A sword could cut everything. We also fought with him, but with all our strength, we couldn't be his opponent. And eventually they were all wiped out by him, and then buried here. Again, I am lucky. Maybe it's because of my special physique, or maybe it's because my companions want to save me as their only hope, but I can actually absorb their vitality to preserve the integrity of my body. Even if I'm already dead by then, I don't know how many years I have been sleeping until I was awakened by you just now. I thought you were our junior. After all, only we evil soul masters have this kind of ability. But you're not, I'm sure you're not. I have said everything that needs to be said in simple words. Guangzhongyang's faceless face looked extremely weird and terrifying, and his voice was also very unpleasant, too hoarse, making people feel uncomfortable after listening to it. Chen Luo doesn't have to worry about Guangzhongyang lying, because as long as Guangzhongyang lies, he will be able to detect it immediately. The connection between them is absolutely direct, and he has absolute control. Where is your face? Chen Luo finally asked. Guangzhongyang smiled and said, it was torn off by myself. Once I was swallowed by the soul and almost lost it, so my face was torn off. I don't need to judge who I am by that face. Do you still want that face? Chen Luo asked. Guangzhongyang was stunned. Even if you think about it, it's impossible. It's possible. Chen Luo said calmly. Then Chen Luo moved his left hand towards Guangzhongyang, the black light flashed, and Guangzhongyang was directly taken into the dead space. His body is indeed very special. The gray aura when he woke up was absorbed by his body. His face did not recover directly, but it could slowly recover in the necromantic space. If you often see his faceless face, I'm afraid I'll have a psychological shadow. Guangzhongyang's strength is not strong, but he is not weak either. He should be infinitely close to the soul saint. He is only a little short of breaking through. Maybe he can complete the breakthrough after staying in the necromantic space for a while. Chen Luo never thought that he would be able to pick up a dead spirit while practicing here, and he would still be an evil soul master. Good luck. By the way, there are also mission rewards. Chen Luo opened his hand, and a black badge appeared in his hand. It was engraved with fine lines and had a rough shape. Why does it look like a dog with 3 heads? Chapter 70 Evolution. Death Badge, 3-headed hell dog. The evolution badge can be used on the target undead to let it evolve. The direction of evolution is related to the undead itself. It will have some characteristics of the 3-headed hell dog, and there is a certain chance that the evolution will fail. Usage period, within 1 hour. Hell 3-headed dog. Chen Luo curled his lips. This is too sloppy. I can only barely make out that it is a dog with 3 heads. After complaining, Chen Luo had a faint smile on his face again. It's an item that can help the undead evolve. It's such a good thing. If there is no expiration date, I can keep it and use it when I get a powerful undead in the future, but now it seems that I can only make a decision as soon as possible. Chen Luo immediately communicated with the 3 undead souls in the undead space. He was still very humane and would not directly force his undead souls to evolve. After all, evolution would have a certain chance of failure. It was up to them whether they wanted to evolve or not. Make your own decision. Soon, Chen Luo received a reply from the 3 undead spirits. The first person to reply was Guangzhongyang. This evil soul master had a firm idea. I don't want to use external power to improve myself. Now that I have the chance to be reborn, even if I become your master's undead spirit, I want to rely on my own strength to improve myself. Chen Luo, why didn't you have such a high level of consciousness when you hunted for souls before? Guangzhongyang, those are the people who deserve to be killed. Why hunt for their souls when you can just kill them? Since Guangzhongyang didn't agree, Chen Luo didn't force it. Guangzhongyang is the first human spirit master soul that Chen Luo obtained. He basically has human thoughts, so he can respond the fastest. Next is the nightmare centipede. This nearly 4,000-year-old soul beast has the same idea as the evil soul master Guangzhongyang. It actually wants to improve itself through its own efforts. In addition to Guangzhongyang, nightmare centipede also has certain thoughts, but his consciousness is relatively weak, and even if the soul beast has a certain amount of wisdom, it is far inferior to humans. But this did not affect nightmare centipede's decision at all. Chen Luo could clearly sense nightmare centipede's thoughts. I've already died once, and I don't want to die again. The main reason is that there are clear instructions in the introduction of the death badge, and there is a certain probability of evolution failure. Needless to say, the consequences of failure to evolve are to finish the game immediately. The last person to respond was the crypt demon spider. This soul beast of nearly 1 people had no thought at all. Its soul was completely obliterated by Chen Luo. Compared to the evil soul master Gong's Hongyang and the nightmare centipede, the crypt demon spiders are the purest undead. The meaning of its existence is to obey Chen Luo's orders. The reason why it finally replied to Chen Luo was because it could not understand Chen Luo's inquiry. If Chen Luo gave the most direct order, the crypt demon spider would definitely be the first to step forward. The crypt demon spider's response was naturally and without a doubt that it was willing to evolve. Even though it took the crypt demon spider such a long time to digest the simplest piece of information, this did not affect the crypt demon spider's absolute loyalty to Chen Luo at all. The crypt demon spider wants to evolve not for itself, but for its master Chen Luo. It wants to become stronger and better serve Chen Luo. After Chen Luo sensed this information, he felt a little touched in his heart. It seems that in the future, when obtaining undead souls, he must consider whether to directly and completely erase the soul. Sometimes it is not necessarily a good thing to allow undead souls to have thoughts, even if they will never betray himself. If Chen Luo forced the evil soul master Gong's Hongyang or nightmare centipede to evolve, they would have no choice but to obey, but Chen Luo still chose to follow their wishes. This is the first and last time, and he will have the final say from now on. You don't know how to cherish such a good thing. You deserve to be treated as a waste for the rest of your life. Chen Luo held the death badge, and then threw the death badge directly into the necromantic space. Under Chen Luo's control, the death badge came in front of the crypt demon spider, and then sank directly into the crypt demon spider's body. Evolution also begins. The moment the death badge sank into the crypt demon spider's body, the crypt demon spider's body began to tremble uncontrollably, and then began to expand. The body of the crypt demon spider became even darker, and blood-red lines gradually appeared in the darkness, spreading all over the crypt demon spider's body. Especially at the position of the spider spear, most of it was dyed blood red, looking extremely strange. The process of evolution is much faster than expected, and the crypt demon spider has no idea how painful it is. It has long lost the ability to feel pain. I saw that his body continued to expand, and his body became darker and darker. Then blood-red lines appeared, and the evolution was over. Chen Luo also received a prompt from the system. The crypt demon spider successfully evolved using the death badge, Hell Three-Headed Dog, and its current identity is Hell Demon Spider. After completing the evolution, the Hell Demon Spider has more than doubled in size. There are many blood-red lines on its dark body. Most of its 8 spider spears are blood-red. The gray aura that originally lingered around it has also disappeared. Then it turned blood-red. It looks like a monster from hell. Everything went very smoothly and there were no accidents. Chen Luo stared at the Hell Demon Spider with great satisfaction for more than 10 seconds, then withdrew his gaze, and then looked at Gong's Hongyang and the nightmare centipede. At this time, the 2 undead spirits were extremely envious. In the undead spirit space, although they each had their own position and were usually unrelated to each other, they could still sense each other's existence and changes. Seeing the crypt demon spider successfully evolve into the Hell Demon Spider, how could Gong's Hongyang and nightmare centipede, who had given up the qualification to evolve, not be envious? This is your choice. There is no use envying you now. You only have one chance, and you won't leave it to those who are afraid of death. Chen Luo said calmly. Nightmare centipede suddenly became much more honest, no longer had too many emotions, and even directly entered an improved state. Gong's Hongyang is different. After all, he is a human being and can express his thoughts. Master, anyone who has died once will be more afraid of death. That big spider has no intelligence at all, so of course it has nothing to fear. But its loyalty to me has always been there, so are we. Forced. Whether they were forced or not, it no longer mattered. It was Chen Luo who woke up from nightmare centipede and Gong's Hongyang. They could only be loyal to Chen Luo in this life. Even if there is the slightest thought that something is wrong, without Chen Luo taking action, the special connection between them will instantly wipe out the last trace of their souls, causing them to lose their intelligence and become completely undead. The current strength of the Hell Demon Spider has reached at least the 3-year-old soul beast level, which is simply a qualitative leap, and its body has also been greatly changed. It is estimated that it can go further in the future. If you want to change to the undead in the future, well, we can consider Nightmare Centipede and Gongzhongyang first. Gongzhongyang. Nightmare Centipede. Chapter 71 Doubt. After Chen Luo took care of the death badge and witnessed the crypt demon spider completing its evolution and becoming the hell demon spider, he no longer paid much attention to the necromantic space. In the dead space, hell demon spider, Nightmare Centipede and Gongzhongyang can all be improved, and they can develop on their own. After taking one last look at his death bracelet, Chen Luo's eyes fell on the mess in front of him. You have to clean it up, otherwise you won't be able to practice again in the future. Chen Luo took out his death scythe and began to fill it back in with the various bones and soil he dug out. After less than 10 seconds of action, Chen Luo suddenly stopped. I still have to do this little thing myself? Why do I have so many younger brothers? Chen Luo immediately called Gongzhongyang out, fill this hole. Gongzhongyang took action immediately and looked conscientious. Chen Luo stood aside and silently watched Gongzhongyang work. This is the right thing to do. I worked so hard to dig you out. Of course you have to handle the follow-up work yourself. You are already a mature undead and you must learn to deal with the aftermath on your own. Gongzhongyang did not use martial arts, but directly filled the hole with his own hands. The speed was quite fast, and the hole was filled in a short time, but the hole was slightly dented. The sunken place was Gongzhongyang's original position. Master, the mission has been completed. Gongzhongyang stood in front of Chen Luo with a smile on his face. Gongzhongyang's face has completely recovered. It is an extremely ordinary middle-aged man's face. He looks a bit naive, but the more honest a person looks on the surface, the more cunning and ruthless he is on the inside. Chen Luo was able to confirm this by looking at some of Gongzhongyang's memories. There is still a face that is pleasing to the eye, but the faceless look is really uncomfortable to look at. Can I return to the dead space? Gongzhongyang asked. Chen Luo, aren't you bored staying there? Of the two dead soul beasts, one is completely without intelligence and has no emotions, and the other is not very intelligent. They will have no problem even if they stay in the dead space for a lifetime. But Gongzhongyang is different. Even if he has become an undead spirit, he is still a human being with his own thoughts. Can he get used to staying in the undead space? Gongzhongyang smiled and said, Master, you don't have to worry. After we enter the necromantic space, unless you contact us actively, we will enter a dormant state. It is in that special state that we can continuously improve our strength. Master, can I go back? Gongzhongyang asked again. Chen Luo could see that Gongzhongyang really wanted to return to the necromantic space. He probably wanted to break through the limits of his previous life in the necromantic space. This is good, there will be one more soul saint thug right away. Chen Luo took Gongzhongyang back and looked at the environment in the pit with a satisfied smile on his face. When I came here, my soul power level was successfully broken through and raised by 1 level. Later, he also harvested the undead evil soul master Gongzhongyang. Later, he also received the death badge, the 3-headed dog of hell, and helped the crypt spider successfully evolve into the hell spider. Full of harvest. It was just that everything was so smooth and beautiful, which made Chen Luo feel unreal. Gongzhongyang's soul power level is 69, and he is only one step away from the 70-level soul saint. It is estimated that he will advance to the soul saint level in a short time. I am just curious whether he will get a soul ring now that he has become an undead spirit. Probably no more. His other soul rings have all turned gray. It is estimated that after his strength reaches level, he will automatically obtain a gray soul ring. Oh, by the way, Gongzhongyang's martial spirit is a long sword. Before his death, he was killed by a titled Douluo whose martial spirit was a sword. A titled Douluo whose martial soul is a sword? Could it be Sword Douluo? Probably not, they are not of the same period. Chen Luo checked the information about Gongzhongyang in his mind, but he only took a brief look at it. He was too lazy to look through Gongzhongyang's memory. There was no need for it. Chen Luo then sensed the changes in the hell spider. In addition to the changes in size and strength, the hell spider also had a special ability, that is, a clone. This kind of clone is not a clone out of thin air, but requires a part of the hell demon spider's body as a medium to complete the clone. It is said that it is a clone, but actually it is better to say it is a split. For example, if one of the hell spider's spider spears is broken, its spider spear can immediately split into new hell spiders. This is probably the case. What it looks like specifically can only be known if you see it with your own eyes. In addition, the hell demon spider's attacks will be accompanied by extremely terrifying corrosion pollution, similar to curse. These are probably related to the characteristics of the three-headed hell dog. The hell spider successfully inherited some characteristics of the three-headed hell dog. This evolution can only be described as perfect. Putting away his thoughts, Chen Luo prepared to practice for a while longer. But at this moment, he suddenly felt a familiar breath coming near the pit. Is it Master Yu Xiaogang? What is he here for? By the way, this cultivation treasure place was introduced by Yu Xiaogang. Maybe Yu Xiaogang knows something about what happened here in the past. Could it be that he had some premeditation in letting me come here to practice? Chen Luo continued to practice. He wanted to see what Yu Xiaogang was up to. After a while, Yu Xiaogang came to the top of the pit. He also unfolded his soul power and seemed to be sensing something. The cultivation status is good. It is confirmed that Chen Luo's martial soul is a special martial soul. Perhaps his future soul ring acquisition direction can be towards spiritual development. Yu Xiaogang's voice was very low, but Chen Luo's perception was strong and he could still hear clearly. Could it be that I was thinking too much? Yu Xiaogang only took a look at the pit, as if he really just checked on his cultivation status, and then left directly. Maybe I really think too much? Chen Luo thought to himself, no matter what, whether it's soul hunting or awakening, you must use it carefully in the future. After all, there are lessons learned from the past. A lesson learned from the past is the evil soul master Gong Zhongyang and the others. In fact, there is no real evil and justice, everything is defined by people. Possessing special abilities does not mean that they will definitely turn to evil, and those powerful soul masters who seem to be righteous are actually dirtier than the sludge in the stinking ditch. Chen Luo can see this from Guang Zhongyang's memory. It is true that there are many evil soul masters who have gone astray, but there are also some soul masters like Gong Zhongyang. They do not rely on their special abilities to do unscrupulous things. They harvest souls, but also to harvest the souls of those who have committed many crimes. Facts have proven that no matter whether you have done something wrong or not, as long as you are labeled as evil, you are destined to bear this label for the rest of your life. Chen Luo has always been aware of these things in his heart, so he has never wavered in his firm heart. If he used soul hunting to improve his strength, he would probably be at least a soul saint now, or even stronger, but he did not do that. He will not ruin his future prospects for the sake of immediate achievements, and he cannot do anything to kill other people's souls at will. You have to rely on killing people and hunting souls to become stronger. Even if you are forced to have no choice in the future, it is not now. No one can guarantee that you will definitely be on the right path in the future, but you can guarantee that the current choice is correct. Chapter 72 Tang 3 is back. Tang-san is back. As soon as Chen Luo finished his training, he noticed two familiar auras coming to the door of Shrek Academy. It's Tang-san and Douluo. Chen Luo's induction is getting stronger and stronger now. Even if he is far away, he can still have a certain induction, especially for familiar sense. Half a year has passed before I know it. I don't know how Tang-san is doing. If nothing else, I should have gained a lot. I should have brought back some good things. There should be some from other Shrek monsters, including mine and Xiao Wu. It might be a bit confusing. In Chen Luo's impression, what Xiao Wu got was the heart-sickening red, and now Xiao Wu was his. Tang-san would only give the love-sickening red to him unless he had a trick in his head, or he really had the spirit of great love. As for Chen Luo himself, he was already an extra person. It was very uncertain whether he had something, but maybe there were so many things in the ice and fire eyes. Maybe Tang-san also prepared heavenly materials and earthly treasures for Chen Luo. It doesn't matter. I feel like I already have enough good things. If I have them, it's better. If I don't, it doesn't matter. I hope Tang-san can get some good herbs for Xiao Wu to help Xiao Wu improve. Chen Luo stood up and left the pit, running towards the school gate. When Chen Luo arrived at the school gate, it was already very lively. As Chen Luo sensed, Tang-san and Douluo had arrived at Shrek Academy, and what welcomed them was Shrek Academy's current strongest lineup. Flanders, Master, Liu Erlong, Zhao Wuji, Lu Kibin, Xiao Xin, and Li Yusong all came, and they all looked serious and cautious. Some people may think that why Master Yu Xiaogang is also in the strongest lineup of Shrek Academy, just to fill in the numbers, Don't forget, Uzia Gang, Flanders and Liu Erlong are the Golden Iron Triangle and can use very powerful martial soul fusion skills. Although Uzia Gang is the most useless among the three, he is also invincible. A missing part. The last time they went to the Sunset Forest to find Tang Sen, they also relied on the Golden Iron Triangle spirit fusion skills. Otherwise, they would have been all gone, and Douluo wouldn't have listened to what they said. Looking at the battle in front of him, Chen Luo knew very well that Flanders and the others were mainly welcoming Douluo's arrival. If they did not welcome with the highest standards, the senior poison Douluo would be a little unhappy. Shrek, the college will suffer disaster. Douluo seems to be in a good mood. It seems that Tang San performed well in the Ice and Fire Eyes. Everything goes well. Chen Luo thought to himself. Chen Luo did not step forward, but silently watched from behind. Headed by Dean Flender, Shrek Academy had a simple negotiation with Douluo. Everyone was very happy to see that Tang San was fine, especially when they learned from Tang San that Douluo was going to become the Academy's consultant. They were even happier. An academy with a title Douluo in charge can be upgraded by more than 1 or 2 levels. It can be seen that Douluo is very disdainful of Flanders and the others. If Douluo really wants to take action, I am afraid that even Flanders and the others will not be his opponents. Everything was similar to what Chen Luo remembered. After a few words of conversation, the group of them walked towards the academy. Chen Luo saw this and left early. He just wanted to see if everything was consistent with his memory, and to witness the highlight moment of Shrek Academy. After all, from today on, Shrek Academy will also have a title Douluo Academy. After a while, Chen Luo came to the forest behind the college, and finally stopped in front of a bush. The bush was close to the height of a person and looked very dense. Before Chen Luo could say anything, a beautiful figure rushed out from the bushes and jumped directly into Chen Luo's arms. Brother Chen Luo, you also know that you took the initiative to come to me. The practice is over for today. Come on, take me to eat delicious food. Not today, let's go another day. Chen Luo patted Xiao Wu's back gently and smiled. Xiao Wu raised her head and pouted slightly. Chen Luo, you have changed. Okay. You never said another day before. Today is really special. Why is it special? Tang San is back. Huh? Tang San is back. Xiao Wu was a little surprised. Wasn't he captured by that poison Douluo? Yes, I'm back. Chen Luo nodded. It's good to be back, it's good to be fine, then let's go see him. Xiao Wu didn't show too much excitement, just a slight mood swing. Except for Uzia Gang and the others, Chen Luo told Xiao Wu that Tang San was captured by Douluo. None of the other Shrek monsters knew about it. Chen Luo originally thought that Xiao Wu would be very excited when he found out about this, but Xiao Wu acted very calmly, just a little surprised and a little worried, just a kind of worry you would have for an ordinary friend. Chen Luo knew that Tang San would be fine, so he wasn't too worried, but Xiao Wu was different. After all, they had been friends for so many years, but they seemed very calm. If I were captured, Xiao Wu would probably cry like hell. Chen Luo held Xiao Wu's hand, and the two of them went to meet the other Shrek little monsters. Liu Erlong's former residence. When Chen Luo and Xiao Wu arrived, all the other Shrek monsters gathered. Oscar smiled and said, I'm about to call you too. The master said, Chen Luo must have sensed Tang San's return. His perception has always been very strong. Yes. Oscar nodded with a smile. During this period of time, everyone was practicing in seclusion, and everyone had improved a lot. Chen Luo glanced at them, smiled at everyone, and could clearly feel that their auras had become stronger. It's better to come by chance. Third brother is preparing to send us good things. Ma Hongjian rubbed his hands and said. Chen Luo's eyes fell on Tang San. Tang San's appearance had not changed much, but his strength had improved tremendously. He was now at least level 37. The two looked at each other and smiled. Tang San said, I have also prepared a medicinal herb for you, which should be helpful to you. Okay. Chen Luo was a little surprised. Although he didn't need it very much, it was better to have it than not to have it. Of course, the more natural resources and treasures, the better. After reminiscing about old times, Tang San began to distribute treasures to everyone. Daimyu Bei, the strange velvet reaching the sky chrysanthemum. Oscar, 8-petal fairy orchid. The medicinal herbs everyone obtained were similar to what Chen Luo remembered, and they soon arrived at Zuziuking. Tang San took out a lovesick heartbroken red, and also told the story of love sickness heartbroken red. If you want to pick the petals, you must think about your loved one when picking them. Be sincere and spit out a mouthful of blood and sprinkle it on the petals. If your heart is sincere enough, you can only pick it off. If you have distracting thoughts, even if you vomit blood and it cannot be obtained even by death. At Tang San's signal, Zhu's Huking spurted out a mouthful of blood, but the result was not recognized by Acacia Broken Heart Red. Then came Master Yu Gang, but the result was the same and he failed. Whether it is Zhu's Huking or Yu Gang, their love for them is still mixed with distracting thoughts. Chen Luo stared at her heartbroken and wanted to verify his sincerity towards Xiao Wu. As a result, Xiao Wu was one step ahead. Chapter 73 All Become Stronger. Puff. There was a soft sound, and Xiao Wu's blood spilled onto the Xiangxi heartbroken red. Before anyone could react, the Xiangxi heartbroken red quietly left Wu Zhuxi without any sway in the process, and was finally caught by Xiao Wu's slender hands. This belongs to me. Xiao Wu casually wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, smiled at everyone, then looked at Chen Luo, and gently shook the acacia heartbroken red in front of Chen Luo, as if to show off. Chen Luo couldn't help but smile. You actually got the first step. So you want this too? If I had known earlier, I would have given it to you. Chen Luo came to Xiao Wu, wiped away the blood from the corner of her mouth, and said with a smile, "Silly girl. You are stupid." Xiao Wu glanced at Chen Luo angrily. Cough cough. Cough, cough, cough. There were bouts of coughing, and then Dai Mubei's voice rang out. That's enough for you two. Are you even going to let us people live? We're almost fed up with you. Oscar also said, can you be considerate of us? Ma Hongjin said coldly, don't you have wrong? Oscar's face suddenly turned red and he almost kicked Ma Hongjin. Ninrongrong on the side looked very calm and seemed not to be affected by their words. Tang San then distributed treasures to everyone. Since Zhu Zihuking failed to take off the love sickness red, and Xiao Wu successfully took the love sickness red, Tang San then took out the Narcissus jade muscle and bone that he was going to give to Xiao Wu. Soon everyone's treasures were distributed, including the Master's 9th grade purple ZHI and Tang San's own see-through autumn water dew. Only Chen Luo's was left. Tang San had said that Chen Luo also had a share. Chen Luo, it's your turn. Tang San took out a jade box, which contained a ginseng-like medicinal herb. This is Unit Ginseng Emperor. After taking it, it can greatly improve your physique. I know your physique is very special, but this ginseng root will definitely be of great help to you and can help you further improve. Chen Luo directly reached out and took it without any pretense. Thanks, brother. Tang San nodded lightly. I just took Wang Chuan Kiashudu, and now I have to practice some. You can finish taking Hunil Ginseng Emperor later and directly enter the cultivation state, so that it can exert its effect to the greatest extent. Okay, I know. Chen Luo nodded, but he did not take Hunil Ginseng King immediately. You go ahead and practice, I'll take care of it for you. Chen Luo said. Then Chen Luo watched Tang San go to practice, and then his eyes fell on Xiao Wu beside him. Why don't you take Acacia Broken Heart Red? Chen Luo asked. Xiao Wu immediately shook her head. I can't bear it. This is for you. Chen Luo handed the Hunil Ginseng Emperor to Xiao Wu. I'm very confident in my own physique. I'll give this to you. Everyone has something good to supplement. You can't live without it. Xiao Wu shook her head. I don't want it. I'm so lovesick that I'm heartbroken. I ate yours. What should you do? Take it. Chen Luo handed the Hunil Ginseng Emperor directly to Xiao Wu. Since it changes your physique, you can take it and get some benefits. Chen Luo said, when I take it, the improvement is only a little. If you take it, the improvement may be huge. Only in this way can you better exert the effect of this treasure. Huh? You mean I'm not in good health? That's what it means, so you eat it quickly and then practice with him. I'll take care of it for you. After all the talk, Xiao Wu finally agreed. Xiao Wu ate Hunil Ginseng Emperor and entered a state of cultivation. Chen Luo then showed a satisfied smile. He didn't want to see his Xiao Wu lagging behind others, which meant that he didn't know those talents and treasures, otherwise he would have to bring some back to supplement Xiao Wu's skills. Although he will continue to work hard to practice and become strong enough to protect Xiao Wu himself must also be strong. I believe Xiao Wu thinks so too, otherwise this girl who is extremely lively and loves to play, can endure the boredom of practice and keep practicing hard. The Shrek 7 monsters who took the heavenly materials and earthly treasures gradually changed their bodies as they continued to practice. The others are similar to Chen Luo's impression. They changed their physiques, their martial souls evolved, Daimyu-Bei's physique further improved, and Ningrongrong's 7 treasures glazed pagoda evolved into 9 treasures glazed pagoda. These are all the same as Chen Luo's. Consistency in memory. Chen Luo's eyes mainly fell on Tang San and Xiao Wu. A lot of dirt has appeared on the surface of Xiao Wu's body. Those are impurities in her body. When the impurities are removed, Xiao Wu's physical condition will be greatly improved. On the other side, Tang San's eyes condensed with a golden light, and Chen Luo knew that this was Tang San's purple demon eyes about to evolve. Then Chen Luo's eyes kept falling on Tang San until Tang San opened his eyes. Chen Luo had been paying attention to the changes in Tang San's expression, and when he saw that Tang San did not show any emotional change, he looked away. In Chen Luo's impression, Tang San only fully knew Xiao Wu's identity after taking the looking through autumn water dew. But now it seems that Tang San didn't see anything. It was probably because of the death ring. That's fine, Xiao Wu's identity is special after all. One less person knows about it, which means more security. Not long after, the Shrek 7 monsters gradually ended their cultivation state, and everyone obtained corresponding benefits from the treasures of heaven and earth. Chen Luo was the extra one. Even if he got the Hunil Ginseng Emperor from Tang San, he still gave it to Xiao Wu. Chen Luo didn't have any regrets about this. Xiao Wu could accept the Hunil Ginseng Emperor. He was already very happy, but he was afraid that this silly girl wouldn't want it. After being nourished by the fairy herbs, the soul power levels of the Shrek 7 monsters have been significantly improved. Evil-eyed white tiger Daimyu-Bei, level 40. Sausage Monopoly Oscar, level 38. Thousand-hand Shirt Tang San, level 37. Evil Fire Phoenix Ma Hongjin, level 36. Soft Bones Charming Rabbit Xiao, level 38. 7 Treasure Glazed Ning Rongrong, level 37. Ghost Civet Zuzuking, level 38. Of course, Chen Luo, a non-staff member, is also indispensable. Even if he does not take the fairy herbs, his level is still above everyone else. Death Reaper Chen Luo, level. The reason why the death scythe was used was to better correspond with the titles of the Shrek 7 monsters. Chen Luo's martial spirit was the god of death, and only Chen Luo knew it. During the past 6 months, Chen Luo had been practicing in the deep pit, and he had almost absorbed all the special power there. During this period, Chen Luo also practiced with Xiao Wuji several times, and even Liu Erlong also joined into actual combat training. Liu Erlong's strength was far stronger than that of Xiao Wuji. It was under Liu Erlong's pressure that Chen Luo's strength improved so quickly. In fact, the most important thing is that after Chen Luo broke through level, he seemed to no longer have that bottleneck stagnation period. In the past, whenever he was about to break through to the next level, he would stay at that level for a long time. For example, from level 29 to level, and from level, to level, Chen Luo stayed at these 2 stages for a very long time, so long that Chen Luo himself sometimes doubted his life. Now that he has broken through level, it seems that stagnation no longer exists, and he has broken through to level, very smoothly. Just in time to get a new soul ring together. Chen Luo looked at the Shrek 7 devils with a smile on his face and thought to himself. Chapter 74 already numb. With the help of Tang San's immortal herbs, everyone's soul power level has been improved. Even the master Yu Zia Gang, who has been stuck at level 29, finally made a breakthrough and reached level. Under the master's instructions, everyone will go to the Soul Beast Forest together in 7 days to help those who need soul rings obtain soul rings. During these 7 days, everyone can have a good rest and practice some more. Chen Luo was not in a hurry, so he waited for the rest of the army to go together. Chen Luo, I've become stronger again. After finishing training, Xiao Wu immediately came to Chen Luo, with an excited and happy smile on her pretty face. Well, it would be nice to be able to improve. Chen Luo nodded and gently wiped the dirt off Xiao Wu's face. Xiao Wu's skin was already very good. After removing the impurities from her body, her skin seemed to have become even better. It was as delicate as jade, with a hint of pink, making people want to take a bite. Xiao Wu said, Hunil Ginseng Emperor was originally given to you by Tang San. What's mine is yours. Chen Luo said gently. Xiao Wu smiled, You are so kind. Cough, cough. Cough, cough, cough. The coughing sounded again, and Ma Hongjin and Oscar couldn't stand it anymore. The strange thing is that Dime Yubei did not join in this time. Everyone looked and saw that Dime Yubei was hugging Zhu Xiuqing, so how could he care about it? Oscar said, "Can you stop being so annoying?" "Yes, we were stimulated once before practicing, and again after practicing. We provoked him ever." Ma Hongjin said. "Boss Dai, too, abandoned us so ruthlessly." Oscar sighed. Ma Hongjin walked towards Oscar and hugged Oscar's shoulders. "Xiao, how about we make a pair?" As he said that, Ma Hongjin even winked at Oscar. Oscar raised his foot and kicked him. "Get out." After some fun, everyone's eyes fell on Chen Luo. Ma Hongjin smiled and asked, "By the way, Chen Luo, what level are you at now? You haven't taken the heavenly materials and earthly treasures this time. It's time for us to catch up with you, right?" Oscar glanced at Ma Hongjin. "Even if Chen Luo lets you practice for half a year and then gives you 2 natural treasures, you still can't catch up with Chen Luo. He can press you to the ground and rub you with one hand." Ma Hongjin smiled and said, "When did I say that I would catch up with Chen Luo in terms of strength? I guess I will never be able to beat Chen Luo in this life. I'm talking about the level of soul power. Not even the Shrek 7 devils knew about Chen Luo's soul power level, not even Xiao Wu. After all, they were not practicing in the same place. Chen Luo's training took a long time every time. Not only the Shrek monsters, but also Master Yu Zaigang and other Shrek Academy teachers didn't know. They only knew what happened during Chen Luo's last battle training with Liu Erlong. At that time, the soul power level was level 38. After Ma Hongjin spoke, almost everyone's eyes fell on Chen Luo. At this time, Dime Yubei and Zhu Xiuqing had also separated. Zhu Xiuqing once again turned into a cold and unapproachable goddess. Dime Yubei was enjoying a moment. Finally, he didn't press any further and seemed very knowledgeable. "Level, comma," Chen Luo said calmly. Just now, Chen Luo made a brief summary of the soul power levels of the Shrek 7 monsters, and by the way, he also added himself to it. At that time, Chen Luo knew that everyone would definitely ask about his soul power level. As expected, the fat man Ma Hongjin was the most I couldn't help but ask first. After hearing Chen Luo's soul power level, everyone was not too surprised. If Chen Luo's level was not that high, they would probably be surprised. I knew that Chen Luo's level was still higher than ours. This guy is a real monster. I feel like I can't even catch up with Chen Luo in terms of soul power level in this life. This guy is really terrifying. Ma Hongjin said with a smile. Period. Oscar also smiled and said, "I think Chen Luo may have swallowed some heavenly and earthly treasures, otherwise his soul power level would have increased so quickly." "How long does it take?" "It's only been half a year." Dime Yubei said, "I remember he was only level 36 half a year ago, and now he's level, ... I only have one word for him, and that is surrender. It's just a fluke." Chen Luo smiled slightly. Ma Hongjin immediately leaned over. He wanted to hug Chen Luo, but when Xiao Wu glared at him, he immediately calmed down. "A fluke? Chen Luo, please tell me if there is any chance of a fluke. I want to have a chance too." Ma Hongjin said, "To be honest, every time I think I am barely a genius, when I think of you, I feel like a waste." Me too, me too." Oscar also said. Chen Luo has almost gotten used to the reactions of these little monsters. Almost every time they meet, they have to express their inner feelings, so those few girls seem to be much quieter. Not knowing what expression to use to respond to these guys, Chen Luo just smiled slightly in the end. After everyone finished expressing their feelings, Tang-san walked up to Chen Luo and smiled slightly. "You have become stronger again." "You too." Chen Luo responded with a smile. The two of them never need to communicate too much. They can express many things just by looking at each other and smiling. We have been together for so many years, even if we don't have feelings, we still have feelings. Of course, it is brotherly love. Chen Luo only has Xiao Wu in his heart, and that orientation has always been normal. As long as it's okay. Chen Luo said. "Ah." Tang-san nodded. "Not only is it okay, but I also gained a lot. This is obviously the best outcome." "Yes." Chen Luo and Tang-san briefly chatted for a few words, but before they could continue their conversation, Flanders came over. When Flanders felt a change in everyone's aura, his expression changed slightly. "What's wrong with you all?" Your soul power has increased so quickly?" Flanders asked in surprise. But soon, without waiting for Tang San and the others to answer, Flanders immediately stepped into the purpose of his coming here. "Tang San, Senior Douluo is looking for you. He has brought Douluo Yan with him. There must be something going on. You'd better be careful. After all, the title poison Douluo is still too dangerous. The most poisonous thing is always the human heart, but don't trust him too much." Tang San smiled and nodded. "Don't worry, Dean, nothing will happen. The old poisoner is not as bad as you think." Afterwards, Tang San followed Flanders to find Douluo. The Shrek little monsters dispersed one after another. They did not go back to the dormitory to rest directly. Even though they all had extremely terrifying talents, they still worked harder than any Shrek Academy student. They all returned to their respective training venues to continue practice. Chen Luo took Xiao Wu back. Xiao Wu was dirty and needed to go back and take a shower. Chapter 75 Departure, Sunset Forest. After accompanying Xiao Wu back to the dormitory and taking a shower, Chen Luo accompanied Xiao Wu to Xiao Wu's training ground. After her soul power was greatly improved, Xiao Wu no longer thought more about going out to play, eat or drink. She only thought about practicing quickly and consolidating her strength. Today Xiao Wu is no longer the little sister from Nodding City. Although she still loves to play, she can always restrain her desires and focus on cultivation. Eating, drinking and having fun are still very tempting to her, but in front of cultivation, it is no longer worth mentioning. After taking a shower, Xiao Wu put on a pink dress and took Yunil Ginseng Queen. Xiao Wu's physical condition has been greatly improved. Not to mention anything else, it can be seen from Xiao Wu's figure alone. Period. Xiao Wu's figure was originally very graceful, but now it can only be described as perfect. Coupled with her extremely delicate face, it is not too much to describe her as a fairy. "Why have you been staring at me?" Xiao Wu noticed that Chen Luo's eyes had been falling on her. Her pretty face turned red and she couldn't help but ask. Chen Luo smiled slightly. "I just wanted to see you. You seem to have become much prettier. Wasn't I beautiful before?" Xiao Wu blinked her watery eyes. Chen Luo smiled and said, "Of course it's beautiful. It's even more beautiful now. People can't help but look at it more. Then there's no need to keep watching." A blush appeared on Xiao Wu's pretty face. Chen Luo said, "You are going to practice again soon, and I will go back to practice later. I don't know when we will meet next time, but of course I have to see you more. It's not like we can't see each other anymore, so what?" Xiao Wu pouted. Chen Luo pulled Xiao Wu into his arms and kissed her gently on the forehead. "If I can, I want to look at you like this all the time." Xiao Wu's pretty face instantly turned red, even to her ears, but she remained merciless. "Tell me honestly, have you followed Boss Dai and the others in a bad way lately?" "No." "Then why do you become so greasy when you talk?" "What's so greasy?" "I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart." "Humph, I don't believe it. Have you said these things to other girls?" "How is it possible? We have always been together." "You mean you went to find other girls while I was away?" No, that's not what I meant." "HMPH, that's what you mean." Chen Luo and Xiao Wu were talking to each other as they walked. The two walked side by side, holding hands. The blue-silver grass around them seemed to be unable to stand anymore, and the branches and leaves were rolled up. After sending Xiao Wu back to practice, Chen Luo did not go back to the pit to practice, but returned to the dormitory. The special energy in the pit has been absorbed by Chen Luo. If he practices there again, the effect will not be as good as practicing in the dormitory. The place has completely become a dead place. Tang San is back, and everything is consistent with what he remembered. He brought back a lot of fairy herbs, and the little monsters have been greatly improved. The only difference is, Xiao Wu also obtained the fairy grass, and her soul power level was improved. The fairy grass was originally prepared for me by Tang San. Chen Luo reviewed these things in his mind, and finally a smile appeared on his face. A scene flashed through his mind. Xiao Wu was one step ahead of him, using blood to pluck off the love sickness red one, and smiled at him. He will remember that smile forever. My current soul power level has reached level 2. In 7 days, I can go to the soul beast forest with the Shrek monsters to hunt soul beasts and obtain new soul rings. The age of this soul ring must be at least more than, years old. After reviewing what happened after Tang San returned, Chen Luo immediately thought of the next arrangements. Obtain new soul rings, then start new sign-in tasks, and continue to become stronger. He will work hard to be strong enough to protect her behind him before that day comes, and no one can hurt her 7 days later. In the early morning, at the gate of Shrek Academy, the Shrek 7 monsters gathered here, and Chen Luo also arrived on time. Standing in front of them were Flanders, Liu Erlong, Xiao Wuji, and Grandmaster. Shrek Academy's strongest combat force right now is Flanders and the others. Today is the day when they take the little monsters to hunt the soul beasts and obtain the soul rings. Of course, they have to be fully prepared. The master also wants to obtain the third soul ring, which will be a huge improvement for the golden iron triangle. Hey, Tang-san, where's your little follower? Xiao Wu teased in a low voice. Tang-san showed a helpless expression. Stop talking, I finally convinced Tai Long not to follow. In these 7 days, Tang-san experienced nothing less, but the process is slightly different. Tang-san met Tai Long on the road, and he didn't know what kind of stimulation Tai Long received. He actually took the initiative to attack Tang-san, as if he just wanted to vent his emotions. As a result, one can imagine how Tai Long could be thousand-armed sure Tang-san's opponent, and was beaten violently by Tang-san. Then came the classic scenes of calling the son to come to me, or even to come to grandpa. These situations are all the same. Tang-san's background was also revealed, and he also gained a loyal follower, Tai Long. In these days, although Chen Luo spent most of his time practicing, he knew very well what Tang-san had experienced. Even if he didn't go to see it, when he heard Xiao Wu talk about it, he still had a strong sense of the image. And Xiao Wu is a person who loves to join in the fun. After training, she likes to go to lively places. It is not surprising to know this news. After Xiao Wu spoke, Daimyo Bei and the others continued to tease Tang-san a few words, until Flanders spoke. Flanders said, "Our destination this time is Sunset Forest. There are a few things you should pay attention to. First, you need to finish hunting the soul beasts yourself. We will not take action unless it is absolutely necessary. This is the first stage of your graduation exam, and the second stage is the next Senior Soul Master competition. Second, in the Sunset Forest, everything depends on you. We will not provide you with any protection, and you have to protect us. This is also a test for you. Third, Chen Luo, you are the most special being. If possible, I hope you can rely on your own strength to hunt soul beasts and form a team alone. If you are here, they will more or less rely on you. For you." All the little monsters nodded in unison, and Chen Luo also nodded. Being able to act alone is what Chen Luo wants to see most. Flanders added, "Chen Luo, you don't have to worry about your own safety. You only need to move within a range of 500 meters. If there is any situation that you cannot face, we will be able to take action immediately." Chen Luo nodded, but said secretly in his heart, "Actually, you don't need to worry about me, I can do it alone. If one person can't do it, then 2 people. If 2 people are not enough, then 2 10,000-year-old soul beasts will do the trick. Even if you can't run rampant in the Sunset Forest, you can at least ensure your own safety." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.